Chapter 358. Makoto. Tokugawa Yasu says with a loving expression. It seems that he is heartbroken for his beloved son. Yi Xiaobei is shaken. At that moment, the character of Tokugawa Makoto dominates his mind. He stands up and tries to break through the protective cover set by Lin Luoran. He walks towards Tokugawa Yasu. Lin Luoran frowns. Yi Xiaobei, if you really want to be a traitor, give me back my foundation-laying bolus first. What is foundation-laying bolus? Yi Xiaobei's footsteps paused. He remembered the trial of the Tower of Babel. When he passed the trial, everyone stared at him with jealousy. Suddenly, a pie fell from the sky and hit him. He got the foundation-building pill, promised by Martial Uncle Lin. As long as he successfully reached the foundation-building stage, the Yi clan would not decline, right? That is the most glorious moment in the life of the otaku Yi Xiaobei. A small bolus not only means that his life will be different from then on, but it also means that the Yi family has a new possibility. He still remembers that when he took the foundation-laying bolus home, his domineering grandmother smiled and his cowardly father had tears in his eyes. Compared with Tokugawa Makoto, who was born with a silver spoon, Yi Xiaobei's life is not perfect. He is useless and incompetent for the first 20 years. A young cultivator who is working hard seems to be more real and motivated. The memory of Tokugawa Makoto in his mind is gradually blurred. Two tigers fight, and only Yi Xiaobei's life is left. The fog disperses. When Yi Xiaobei opens his eyes again, he is already a sunny young man. Hey, Master Lin, why are you here? Yi Xiaobei looks confused. He doesn't find that he is wearing samurai clothes. Speaking of which, where is his storage bag? Lin Luoran smiles. General Tokugawa, are you still dreaming at this moment? Don't you want to wake up? Tokugawa Yasu looks gloomy. What kind of monster are you? How dare you come to the general's mansion to confuse people with lies? Samurai, come and help me take her down. Tokugawa Yasu is so powerful that the samurai and servants even forget such a strange thing as Tokugawa Yasu's resurrection. Dark clouds accumulate in the sky. Another heavy snow is about to fall. The samurai of the Tokugawa shogunate move in slow motion. A samurai raises his katana high and slashes at Lin Luoran's energy shield. Thick black air condenses on his blade. Tokugawa Ieyasu smiles ferociously. Lin Luoran frowns in the protective cover. Dark attribute power of faith? It seems that she guessed wrong at the beginning. Tokugawa Ieyasu is not a poor guy who is kept in the dark. If he is not the most devout believer, he can't use the power of faith. He is not a poor guy who is kept in the dark. In this drama, even if Tokugawa Ieyasu is not the protagonist, he should be an important supporting actor, right? Get ready to fight. Lin Luoran looks serious. Yuan Yi summons his flying sword. Mr. Lin takes out a big knife. Lin Qingxue clenches the magical pistol. Yi Xiaobei is a little confused. Seeing that everyone is on guard and he has no handy weapon, he still casts a spell. The Japanese katana slashed at the barrier, and the dark power of faith caused the barrier to sizzle. This is the darkness eroding the light. Lin Luoran simply removes the energy shield. The samurai stumble over. She doesn't want to deal with these poor guys. She leaves them to Mr. Lin and Yuan Yi. She uses wakan to turn it into a big net and covers Tokugawa Ieyasu. Tokugawa Ieyasu rolls on the ground in embarrassment. However, he barely escapes Lin Luoran's big net. She is a bearing essence cultivator. You should have died long ago. You betrayed your faith and imprisoned the god you worshipped. Tokugawa Ieyasu, am I right? Lin Luoran doesn't speak Japanese very well. Her stuttering words still make Tokugawa Ieyasu change his face. Lin Luoran casts a water spell. The snowflakes all over the sky turn into sharp swords, floating in front of Tokugawa Ieyasu. He becomes a trapped beast. Tokugawa Ieyasu smiles mysteriously. Black air condenses on his fingertips. It seems that he is not afraid of Lin Luoran's spells of the 5 elements. If all this is a dream and the snow is also a dream, how can Lin Luoran's water spell hurt Tokugawa Ieyasu with ice and snow as the medium? On the contrary, the dark power of faith on Tokugawa Ieyasu's fingertips has great lethality. The power of faith was needed to perform divine abilities. Fire Phoenix's words are still fresh in Lin Luoran's ears. Then she has the opportunity to see the so-called holy spell. Snow melts into water. Winter and summer replace each other in an instant. Snow evaporates, cumulus clouds turn into rain. The heavy rain constantly washes Mount Fuji. Flash floods break out. Edo will become a city of Heezy in the blink of an eye. These processes may only take 1 second or even less. Lin Luoran can feel that this is not a spell but a great holy spell that can really control the withering of the world and the changing of the 4 seasons. It can make the water vein in the world work for itself. Lin Luoran can even hear the cries of civilians when the flood breaks through the defense of Edo. Although she is a bearing essence cultivator, she is still as small as a boat in the water in the face of such power. She may be capsized by the rolling flood at any time. Fire Phoenix, I hope what you said is true. At this critical moment, all the light spots of the power of faith in Lin Luoran's ocean of consciousness are mobilized. The light is as clear as crystal. However, in this darkness, this little bit of light seems to be swallowed up by the darkness at any time. She makes a strange handprint. In the space, Fire Phoenix, Silverfish, and Wood Wolf, 3 half-spirits stare at a dark statue on the table with different expressions. Are you really sure, Brother Fire Phoenix? The silverfish's scales are shining, which doesn't match its soft little girl's voice at all. Fire Phoenix exhales through its nostrils. Are you kidding me? In the past, such a snake monster was not even enough to fill my teeth. Wood Wolf disdains. You said it was in the past. Now it is ready to rob the godhead. Fire Phoenix kicks it. Shut up. Will you die if you don't say something discouraging? 3 of the 5 elements are gathered. She has now been recognized by most of the space. If she dies, the space will inevitably collapse. Do you still want to live? Wood Wolf wants to be stubborn. However, who doesn't cherish life in this world? If it doesn't want to live, it doesn't have to compromise like this. Do it. The Fire Phoenix reaches out a claw, grabs the black statue, and squeezes it hard. A shrill scream comes from the broken statue. Fire Phoenix sweeps it with its tail and throws it out of the wooden house. A black shadow condenses from the debris. The space notices the illegal outsider. Purple lightning forms in the void and strikes the black shadow into a puff of smoke. Well, it works. Fire Phoenix sticks its head out of the wooden house and clicks its tongue. Wood Wolf rolls its eyes. It turns out that Fire Phoenix is really not sure. However, this should be considered as a help. The sky suddenly clears up. Tokugawa Yasu still doesn't know what happened. Several samurai run to report in a panic. General, Toyotomi's family has sent troops to surround the general's mansion. Tokugawa Yasu takes a step back and his face is full of disbelief. How is it possible? Lin Luoran looks at the receding water and asks him, why is it impossible? Because in your memory, there is no day when Toyotomi Hideyori's army surrounded Edo, right? The dream is no longer woven according to your ideas. Tokugawa Yasu, are you still not willing to wake up? Impossible. Impossible. You lied to me. You lied to me. Tokugawa Yasu's eyes are full of darkness. The gate of the general's mansion is suddenly knocked to the ground. A young general riding a horse pulls the reins. Seeing the corpses all over the ground, he wonders who is the vanguard for him. Lin Luoran almost cries with joy when she sees the familiar face. The young general riding on the horse turns his eyes and falls on Lin Luoran and others. He shows a familiar smile. Chapter 359. I'm really sorry that the call came too late. There is only one big chapter tonight. Please vote this weekend. Merry Christmas everyone. Sister, you are here. The majestic young general is riding a rare warhorse in neon. He is bathed in the sunshine on this snowy day. The city of Edo was flooded, and the general's mansion was filled with blood. However, this young man seems to be untouched for half a year. He is none other than Luodong. Luodong hasn't forgotten his previous life? Lin Luoran has a lot of questions to ask him. She is worried because she can't see Huang Weijin. Lin Luodong pulls the reins. Tokugawa Yasu, You have been dreaming for 400 years. Are you still not willing to wake up? Do we really want these puppets to put on a good show of sending troops to destroy the Edo shogunate? The flawless sky has cracks and the light of the real world is about to pour down at any time. Fire Phoenix destroys the black statue and this perfect dream has a crack. That's why Lin Luodong represents Toyotomi Hideyori's army to attack Edo. This has never happened in the history of Neon or in the memory of Tokugawa Ieyasu. You forced me to do this. Anyone who stands in my way must die. Tokugawa Ieyasu's pupils turn black. He is burning with anger. The clear sky slowly darkens again. A monster with 8 heads and 8 tails suddenly appears over the general's mansion. Its eyes were red, and its back was covered in moss and trees. Its chest was festering and bleeding. Above its head floated a cloud that threatened to rain at any time. Its body was as big as a mountain. The gray sky was the result of its huge body blocking the sun and the misty clouds above its head. Yamada no Orochi. Not only Lin Luoran, but more people here recognize this monster. It is Yamada no Orochi in Neon mythology, which represents flooding and makes waves. When it shakes its tail, Lin Luoran finds that its curled tail has caught many people. Huang Weijian, Chui Hejin, Mulu. Lin Luoran knows these people. As for the ones she doesn't know, they are probably the missing Huaxia tour group and several international students. This monster probably won't catch the missing Nihanese to threaten Lin Luoran. She doesn't have such a strong international support spirit. Yamada no Orochi, do you want me to see Tokugawa Ieyasu's dream-making ability? Lin Luoran's body is small compared to Yamada no Orochi, but she is as imposing as it. In the words of Aojiao Fire Phoenix, she is still a true god, after all. This guy is a semi-finished product who has spent a lot of effort to think about the name of a god. She may lose, but she doesn't lose. She can't retreat first, so she has a chance to survive in danger. Little cultivator from Huaxia, since you know that I led you here, how dare you be so arrogant with your personal ability of bearing? Huaxia people like you can't learn your lesson. Every time Orochi says a sentence, it shakes its head and changes its head. Its voice comes from several directions like thunder. Mr. Lin, Yuan Yi, and Yi Xiaobei, who have low personal ability, all feel that their internal organs are shaken. Lin Luodong falls off the horse directly. Mr. Lin catches him and puts him on his side. However, ordinary people like Lin Qingxue and Shogunate Samurai who are not dead in the courtyard are normal. Lin Luoran is not hurt. She just sneers. A wicked water monster also wants to be a god. Do you think the Tao of nature can do nothing to you even if all the gods and Buddhas are dead? Yamada no Orochi sticks out its second head and says in a muffled voice, after 400 years of hard work, I only have half confidence. Fortunately, you came to me voluntarily. Now I have 10% confidence. A breeze makes Lin Luoran fly up. She strolls above the clouds and looks down at Yamada no Orochi from a higher position. 400 years ago, you persuaded Tokugawa Ieyasu to take advantage of the expansion of the Hongu Sengen Taisha shrine on the top of Mount Fuji to turn the ownerless Sengen Taisha shrine into your Taoist field. You stole the power of faith originally belonging to the goddess of Mount Fuji, Kanohanase. You tried to be a god in this way. Am I right? The festering blood on Yamada no Orochi's chest stinks. When it wriggles its body, it looks even uglier. The stench spreads along with its wriggling head. That bitch can seal me under Mount Fuji. What's wrong with seizing her godhead? Lin Luoran chuckles. Let's not talk about right or wrong. This dream of yours has gathered all the dark side of the power of will. If the center of making dreams wakes up, what do you think will happen? The center of making dreams is Tokugawa Ieyasu, whose 6 senses have been sealed by Yamada no Orochi. Lin Luoran's fingertips gather bright light. It's the vitality of wood, the lightness of water, the heat of fire, the mellowness of earth, and the sharpness of gold. This is a Reiki bomb made of wakan of the 5 elements. Xen Yuanping once tasted a Reiki bomb made of a lower-level Reiki. No matter Reiki of the 5 elements or Reiki of a higher level, they are very dangerous when they are out of balance. Yamada no Orochi laughs so hard that its 8 heads are shaking and its tail is wagging, making the hostages, caught by its tail, look very dangerous. Little cultivator, you want to use the principle of repulsion of the 5 elements to deal with me. Aren't you afraid that you will hurt these people instead? Between reality and illusion, Yamada no Orochi is confident. It knows that Lin Luoran doesn't dare to act rashly. The power of the explosion of Wackenbead is unpredictable. It is most likely to hurt itself. Lin Luoran shows a strange smile as if Yamada no Orochi has told a funny joke. She raises the Reiki bead of the 5 elements in her hand and is ready to throw it at any time. Yamada no Orochi has to be vigilant. It is not afraid that Lin Luoran will hurt anyone. What it worries is that the explosion will wake up Tokugawa Ieyasu, whose 6 senses are sealed. 400 years of hard work will be ruined in one day. Even if Lin Luoran, a ready-made, true god, can replace it, it can't make up for the power of faith that has been condensed. A god without the power of faith, like the Huaxia female cultivator in front of it, can only be controlled by it. The strange smile on Lin Luoran's face becomes wider. She suddenly throws the bead out. How dare you? Yamada no Orochi is furious. One of its heads opens its bloody mouth to bite Lin Luoran. The tail behind it suddenly exerts force. It can crush the hostages rolled up by its tail in a blink of an eye. Another tail rolls up the Reiki bead of the 5 elements, trying to stop it from exploding. At this moment, Lin Luoran is in danger. The hostages are in danger. Judging from the situation, the Reiki bead of the 5 elements will not explode as expected. Will Lin Luoran's efforts fail here? People who can't participate in the battle because their personal ability is too low have made their own efforts. Lin Qingxue aims at the head that is about to bite Lin Luoran and shoots without hesitation. Mr. Lin jumps up with the help of Yuan Yi. He slashes the tail of Yamada no Orochi, which wants to crush the hostages, to death. Yuan Yi and Yi Xiaobei try to cast the water spell together to freeze the water under Yamada no Orochi to slow down its movement. They are all trying very hard, but they are also too weak. The turning point comes from the Reiki bead of the 5 elements. At the moment when everyone is attacking, the original falling direction of the Reiki bead suddenly changes its trajectory. It turns into a parabola and is thrown backward. A big golden bird jumps out from the side. It is Goldie. It has been lurking for a long time and has been very low-key. Goldie holds the Reiki bead with its long beak. It shakes its wings like lightning. With a flap of its wings, it has appeared dozens of meters away. There is a fish in the North Sea named Kuan. Kuan is so big that I don't know how many thousands of miles it is. It transforms into a bird named Rock. The back of Rock is thousands of miles long. When it flies in anger, its wings are like clouds hanging in the sky. The water hits for 3,000 miles, and the rock rises for 90,000 miles. In the past, there was a rock that soared up to 90,000 miles. Goldie is not a rock. It is just a baby of a golden hawk, but it is the king of golden hawks. Goldie holds the Reiki bead in its beak and disappears from everyone's sight. The direction it goes is the snow-covered Mount Fuji. Orochi is shocked. It tries to bite Lin Luoran but fails. What greets its head is Lin Qingxue's Wacken bullets whizzing towards it. The bullet makes a flower of blood in the center of its forehead. For its huge body, such an attack is too small and insignificant. However, for an ordinary person like Lin Qingxue, this shot can still hit the center of Orochi's eyebrows when it is twisting. This is her pride. Its big head stops, but Lin Luoran is no longer there. With the cooperation of Yi Xiaobei and Yuan Yi, they are like a mosquito. Though they are small and weak, they make Orochi feel uncomfortable. It really wants to slap these 2 little bugs to death right away. The most important blow is Mr. Lin's irresistible knife. He cuts the tail of Yamada serpent that wraps the person. Grade 3 magic weapon is infused with all of Mr. Lin's Reiki. It is indestructible. Although the tail of Orochi is not cut off, the spurting blood has dyed a large area of water red. Orochi is in pain and lets go of the hostages wrapped in its tail. A light wind blows. Lin Luoran controls the spell to let everyone fall behind safely. Did they succeed? Everyone is exhausted. They don't know where the courage to work together comes from. With their cooperation, they actually get the hostages back from Orochi. Seeing Orochi twisting in pain, everyone feels like they are in a dream. Lin Luoran props up the strengthened version of the fireproof dome. She covers Huang Weijin and Cui Hejin, who are saved, as well as Mr. Lin and Yuan Yi, who are almost exhausted. Orochi rides its body like crazy. Tall houses in Edo collapse. Civilians affected by the war and Edo people killed by the flood, men, women, old and young, are all dead. Rubble, wooden beams, human bodies and animals. Lin Luoran knows this is a dream, but she still feels pity. The fireproof dome can't hold for too long. Lin Luoran looks at the direction of Mount Fuji. Goldie, you have to be faster. Faster, please. Do you think blowing up Mount Fuji will open the exit to the outside world? Orochi swings its tail and lashes on the fireproof dome. Lin Luoran's face is not good but full of hope. Of course, she doesn't expect blowing up Mount Fuji will open the exit to the outside world. Everything here is so real. Mount Fuji must still be an active volcano in this dream. The impact of blowing up Mount Fuji will make this perfect dream never return to its original appearance. She is betting that Orochi's ability to make Tokugawa Ieyasu's dream is not an endless cycle. In that case, Orochi is already a god in this field. Why does it need to stir up trouble? Since energy is conserved, the more she destroys this dream world, the more energy Orochi will use to repair the world later. If it has no more energy, this dream can no longer be made. The world full of the power of faith with the attribute of darkness will completely collapse. It may take 3 years or even longer to be a good person. It only takes 3 days to be a bad person. It takes several generations of monarchs to govern a country well. It may only be a deliberate screw that corrupts a dynasty. Fire Phoenix is right. Destruction is always more intuitive and powerful than creation. What Lin Luoran needs to do now is to be a destroyer. You want to seize my golden stamp and golden booklet. You try to pretend to be a god with your sinful body. Orochi, I want to show you that it is your biggest mistake to lead me into a trap. The fire of the fireproof dome makes Lin Luoran's side face shine. As if to prove what she said, a loud noise comes from the direction of Mount Fuji. When the volcano exploded, the ash formed a huge mushroom cloud, very much like the atomic bombs that the United States dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Would the intense explosion and the radiation caused by it make this dreamlike world collapse like water ripples? Lin Luoran increases the output of Wacken. She is afraid that her Wacken can't support it, so she directly draws the strange fire in space for her own use. The memory bead, given by White Fairy, only contains the knowledge before the period of bearing essence, which makes Lin Luoran, a bearing essence cultivator, very sad. She has the personal ability of bearing essence, but she is like an ignorant child who doesn't know how to use a laser gun. She can only rely on the spells of the period of laying foundation to fight against the enemy. It is such a pity. The explosion of Mount Fuji enlarges the crack in the sky. Tokugawa Ieyasu's 6 senses are sealed. Because this dream world is closely connected to him, the seal imposed by Orochi on him loses its effect. This famous Nihonese general of the Warring States period who has been in his middle age slowly opens his eyes. What he saw was the flooded Edo castle, the wooden beam floating on the water, and the concubine in red who had always been his favorite concubine was now just a cold corpse. There are more floating corpses in front of them. They are all the people of Edo under the rule of Tokugawa Ieyasu. Half of the towering holy mountain has been blown up. Mushroom clouds rise to the sky and magma overflows. The beautiful mountains and rivers here are about to be swallowed up. The exquisite Eves in his memory, the white-faced woman in wooden clogs walking slowly, the cherry blossoms in the corner will never bloom again, no music will be played, and no proud samurai will swear allegiance to him. The chaotic world in front of him is not the Nihonese in his memory at all. Pain flashes in Tokugawa Ieyasu's eyes. Orochi says in a low voice, "When I take the godhead of this Huaxia female cultivator, I will return you a more real Edo era." Tokugawa Ieyasu is covered with thick black hair. He looks at Orochi and suddenly says in a deep voice, Enough. What did you say? Tokugawa Yasu closes his eyes in pain. I said enough? I have had this dream for 400 years and I don't want to do it anymore. The Edo era that belongs to him has actually disappeared in the long river of time. The grass and trees here only have the shape but not the spirit. This is not his Edo city at all. In order to intercept the power of faith from the darkness, he even deceives himself. He does have a concubine whom he dotes on very much. She was his confidant before he made his fortune. In his memory, she has long died of dystocia, so he does not have a second son named Tokugawa Makita. He is the one who weaves dreams, but he also weaves himself into the dream. There are many regrets in life which make him want to go back to the past. For example, the concubine who died early and the son who didn't have time to name. There are many glories in life which make him want to stay in his memory. I have had this dream for 400 years and I don't want to do it anymore. Tokugawa Yasu is the center of this world. This perfect Edo era is born because of his nostalgia and obsession. When he doesn't want to dream, this world melts at a speed visible to the naked eye. Mount Fuji disappears. The water disappears. The corpses all over the ground disappear. The young woodman at the foot of Mount Fuji is still shivering before the arrival of the lava a moment ago. The next moment, the lava disappears in front of him and he slowly remembers who he is. As a student of Tokyo University, why does he become a woodman? Chui Hejin wakes up with his hands on his head. His brain is filled with the memory of a medical officer. Looking at his straw cape and wooden clogs, Chui Hejin doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Huang Wan stretches and wakes up slowly. It's so strange. She had a long dream in which she became the mother of Toyotomi Hideori in the Edo era. His Royal Highness. Come on, she hasn't even fallen in love yet. How can she have a 12-year-old son in the dream? As for the middle-aged and handsome Tokugawa Yasu, the water in his body is stripped away instantly. His skin instantly ages even more than orange peel. As an ordinary person who has lived for 400 years, his real physical quality even makes him unable to stand upright at this moment in his dream. All the missing people this time, whether they are from Huaxia or Neon, wake up. They stand there in a daze. And all the fictional characters, such as the masked pimp who performs kabuki and those ronin who drink, disappear with the melting of the mountains and rivers. She wakes up from the dream and the colorful world is gone. Looking at the scene in front of her, Lin smiles bitterly. The pungent smell of sulfur, the cracked hard soil layer, and she can feel the jumping magma under the soil layer. Everyone thinks that they have traveled through mountains and rivers, but it turns out that they have been staying at the crater of Mount Fuji all the time. It's a real dream. In addition to them, there are many bones scattered on the ground. Are these people the people who have been lost in the dream in the past 400 years? Goldie hovers outside the fireproof dome, feeling very uneasy. Orochi is not here. Where is it? Looking at Tokugawa Yasu, who is so old that only a layer of dry skin is left, Lin has a bad feeling in her heart. Things go unexpectedly smoothly. Is Orochi really so easy to deal with? What responds to her is the cracking sound from the hard soil layer. Chapter 360. I'm begging for a red ticket. The number 1 on the red ticket list has been killed. I'm begging for a red ticket. The magma is roaring. The scorching fire makes people red all over. The hard soil layer less than 1 meter thick is cracking. Mount Fuji is in danger of eruption at any time. What should she do at this moment? Lin Luoran knows that she can easily rush out. With her personal ability of the bearing essence period, she can even walk in the magma with the protective cover. However, her wakan will run out eventually. She is not sure that she can protect so many people when Orochi breaks the seal. They have to leave first. Lin Luoran makes a decision in an instant. Almost all the family members she cares about are here. She can't let Orochi kill them all at once. Orochi still wants to rob her godhead. As long as Lin Luoran holds on until the end, Orochi will not have the energy to embarrass the people who left before. Should she wait until the end? She casts a voice transmission to inform the people guarding outside to help. However, there is no reply after a few seconds. Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to explore and finds that there is a fierce battle outside the crater. Saito Asada is attacking with a large group of Nihanese cultivators. Li Shi and Wen Guanjing are defending with the personal ability of the laying foundation period. With the cooperation of the special forces, the situation is not bad for them. However, the special forces here are all ordinary people. They are good at marching and single combat. Although Reiki bullets can make Nihanese cultivators suffer, their defense is really too low. Li Shi wants to protect them so that the battle can't be decided for a while. When Guanjing is experienced in fighting. With the personal ability of the early laying foundation period, it is not easy for him to not be defeated by Saito Asada. Yuan Yi. Yuan Yi is stunned and steps forward. Take these people out first. Yuan Yi is the only one who can ride on the sword here. 6 of the Mu family, Cui Hejin, and Yi Xiaobei have lost their storage bags. The situation is not very optimistic. Yuan Yi knows Lin Luoran's character very well. She rarely changes her words. Yuan Yi takes a quick look at the field and decides to take the women among the ordinary people of Huaxia away first. Huang Wan is in the first batch of evacuation. This female student who has some kung fu is shocked by what she has experienced. At this moment, she is not as gentle and confident as when Luodong and Luoluo first met her. Lin Luoran summons Goldie and asks it to send Huang and Luodong out. Seeing that the Huaxia people were riding on swords and condors, the Japanese survivors, who had disappeared together with them earlier and were emaciated due to starvation, started to make a ruckus with tyranny in their eyes. They have been excluded from Lin Luoran's protective cover, and they have been angry but dare not to say anything. At this moment, being baked by the geothermal heat, these Nihanese youths have lost the respect they should have for cultivators. Why should we let them go first? Every citizen of the great Japanese Empire is the most honorable. We should go first. A yellow-haired youth caused a ruckus, and everyone responded. Lin Luoran doesn't pay attention to him at all. She watches several people put Luodong and Huang on the back of Goldie. Goldie flaps its wings and flies away. It's only a few thousand meters away. Both Yuan Yi and Goldie can fly fast. In this way, they should be able to move Mr. Lin and the others before the underground magma erupts. If the magma really erupts, Lin Luoran doesn't have much time left. Cultivators can protect themselves, but ordinary people need to stay far away to ensure their safety. The yellow-haired youth is very ashamed and annoyed. Lin Luoran ignores him, which makes him lose face. The fear of death makes him lose his mind, and he bumps into the fireproof dome. The people around him can't stop him at all. They can only watch the yellow-haired youth bumping into the fireproof dome and being burned alive like a moth flying into the fire. Now people in Nihanese stop talking. Although it is not necessarily safe to stay outside the dome, breaking in by force will lead to death immediately. However, ordinary people in Huaxia who are also under the protection of Lin Luoran in the fireproof dome look at her with fear in their eyes. She is indifferent when a living person is burned alive in front of her. They feel that she is not far from the roaring monster in the depths of the volcano. Lin Luoran doesn't want to explain, but she still feels a little helpless when she sees the fear in her compatriot's eyes. Is it because I don't want to save you, or is it because of you? Why did the originally devout power of faith turn black? It is the inherent darkness in your hearts that gives Orochi an opportunity. Think about the wishes you make to the goddess guarding Mount Fuji. How many negative and vicious words are there? Do you want to ask the goddess guarding Mount Fuji to make one of your enemies suffer? Or do you want the goddess guarding Mount Fuji to bless Neon to regain its former glory? Everything in front of us is nourished by your wishes. I don't have time to save those who deserve it. What she says makes some people speechless. Most of them did fantasize about being in a war-torn era, accomplishing great deeds and slaughtering enemies. Therefore, they were easily hypnotized in their dreams, thinking that they were samurai and soldiers who could do whatever they wanted in the Edo period. This is the reason why Orochi deceives them to come here. Brutal, young, hot-blooded, what a good dream to create. Battles between armies have been going on for years in the turbulent late Warring States period. Tokugawa Ieyasu has been fighting for years in order to unify the world. Everyone in the dream worships the god with brutal, murderous intent. The power of faith with the property of darkness enables Orochi to break the seal and try to seize the godhead of Konohana Sequoiaim. Lin Luoran points out their thoughts and they are speechless for a while. Without the power of faith with the property of darkness accumulated by generations of Nihanese for 400 years, Orochi suppressed under Mount Fuji might have died long ago. Today's disaster would not have happened. At the end of the day, you're the cause you planted. Do you want others to taste the bitter fruit for you? People of Huaxia have figured out these details and they all stare at the surviving Nihanese angrily. These people really deserve to die. Even when they are about to die, they still want to sow discord between them and their savior with a human life. They forget that if they were not brutal as well, they probably would not have been so poisoned in the dream. Little cultivator, you are just like that bitch. You both pretend to be kind and cheat the power of faith. Orochi, which has been silent for a long time, says in a muffled voice. The bitch it talks about is of course Konohana Sequoiaim, the guardian god of Mount Fuji who suppressed it under Mount Fuji and enjoyed the scorching of the ground fire. Lin Luoran sees the last group of ordinary people of Huaxia including Cui Hejian being transferred out. She sneers with ease. Orochi, have I ever corrected you? To a person who has the mandate of heaven and the power of faith of the people, you always call her a little cultivator. Isn't it like you, a monster who is suppressed under Mount Fuji and lives by stealing other people's power of faith, stepping into the mire? Lin Luoran's voice is like a mellow long tone with cadence. Orochi laughs strangely after a long silence. As you wish. If I don't struggle out of this mire, I will feel sorry for your provocation. Its huge body is twisting under the hard soil layer. Mount Fuji has begun to shake. The statue of the goddess worshipped in the main hall of the Hongusengen Taisha shrine on the top of the mountain sighs faintly. Does it finally react? Lin Luoran is floating in the air. She has changed the fireproof dome into a water dome. The temperature difference between cold and hot forms airflow, making her skirt fly up and down. Curled up in the corner, skinny Tokugawa Ieyasu is only alive. His eyelids move. Since he betrayed his faith, he has never felt the breath of the goddess again. Huang Weijian, wake up. Goldie throws him on the hillside. Lin Luodong shakes Huang Weijian hard. Huang Weijian suddenly opens his eyes and spits out a leaf in his mouth. Luodong and Luodong can stay awake in the dream because of these two ordinary leaves. You finally wake up, Huang Weijian. My sister is still under the crater. Without her suppression, Mount Fuji may erupt at any time. Are we really going to do what that woman said? The teenager is worried about Lin Luoran's safety. He remembers what happened that night when he sneaked into the Hongusengen Taisha shrine. He is not sure whether he should trust the woman with a vague face or not. However, the method she told the two of them was really useful. Is it too hasty to trust her only because of this? Huang Weijian jumps up like a carp. Trust her? Why not trust her? If Mount Fuji erupts, we cultivators can still escape. But the people who die are the Nihanese civilians nearby. This is a win-win deal. Lin Luodong thinks so. Goldie, Goldie, come here. Lin Luodong beckons Goldie, who is trying to enter the crater again, to accompany its master. In the Lin family, Goldie only cares about Lin Luoran and Lin Luodong. Feeling that its master can still hold on, Goldie swoops down and hisses at Lin Luodong impatiently. Goldie, take us to the top of the mountain. We have to help my sister deal with Yamada no Orochi. Goldie tilts its head and thinks for 2 seconds. Then it grabs Lin Luodong's collar with its long beak and throws him on its back. Huang Weijian also jumps on it. The two teenagers hold the golden feather on Goldie's neck tightly. In a moment, they come to the front of the Hongusengen Taisha shrine. Goldie, burn this place with fire. By the way, avoid the main hall. Saito Asada leads people to besiege the crater. All the masters of the Sengen Taisha shrine are gone. 2 people and 1 hawk really go in and out of the shrine. Lin Luodong points out the position of the main hall. Goldie spits out white fire and falls. Burn the cherry blossom in the yard and the wishing wooden signs on both sides of the main hall. The white fire is burning. Orochi is trying to break the seal. The power of faith with the property of darkness here has lost its commander. Being burned by Goldie's white fire, an old cherry blossom that has lived for many years turns into charred wood. When the wishing wooden signs on both sides of the main hall are burned out, the main hall, which is about to collapse, suddenly bursts out a strong, dazzling white light comparable to the sunlight. The pure white power of faith, which has been imprisoned for many years, soars into the sky. A bright shadow of Skirt Corner appears in front of the Hongu Sengen Taisha shrine. The shaking of Mount Fuji suddenly slows down. Orochi is in a panic. Chapter 361. It's like the color of flowers in full bloom, and it's like spring when she walks. The cage that has imprisoned her for more than 400 years has collapsed. The woman with a blurred face takes a deep breath of the free air and sighs with emotion. She is an unreal shadow. The so-called free space is just a gust of wind for her. A body without consciousness can't feel how fresh the air is and how delicious the berries are. However, she can still enjoy freedom, can't she? Hey, we have a deal. I will let you out and you have to help me deal with Orochi. Seeing that the shadow is in a daze, Lin Luodong is very anxious. The shadow in a dress of flowers, whose face is covered by a layer of mist, smiles gently at the two boys and disappears. With Cui Hejian and others joining the battle, Saito Asada's side has been losing ground. If he hadn't received the decree of the goddess guarding the mountain, he wouldn't have survived until now with his faith. The situation is very bad now. Saito Asada suspects that he is going to fail the goddess's expectation. A Reiki bullet takes the life of another shrine attendant. Saito Asada's eyes turn red and he feels helpless subconsciously. Is there really nothing he can do to these Huaxia cultivators? In that case, how could he take over the shrine and become the grand priest? Saito Asada seems to be crazy. When Guanjing can't suppress him. When they pass by each other, Saito Asada slashes at Li Shio with a sword. He wants to see whether these sanctimonious Huaxia cultivators will save him or those ordinary soldiers in the face of danger. After fighting for a long time, these special forces soldiers can shoot arrows with ease because of Li Shi's protection. Seeing Saito Asada's sword coming, Li Shi turns her wrist and turns it into the B-tail 1,000 needles of the nature of gold. The sharp needles of the nature of gold suddenly appear around Saito Asada. Since he forces Li Shi to make a choice, Li Shi forces him to make a choice. Is it more important to kill the enemy or to protect herself? After years of experience and growth, Li Shi is no longer the girl who was forced to fight back by the Golden Hawk. She will never let herself be a burden to Sister Lin again. Never. Saito Asada is shocked. He doesn't expect that this Huaxia female cultivator who looks delicate has such courage. She knows that she can't have the best of both worlds, so she also chooses to gamble? Then she had chosen wrongly. When he gave up the absurdity of his youth and chose to become a servant of the Hongu Sengen Taisha shrine, he had dedicated his life to the gods. Saito Asada would never forget the feeling of the power of faith flowing through his body for the first time in the main hall after he worked hard to become a guard officer. That was the goddess' response to his devout worship. Some golden needles have been inserted into Saito Asada's body. The sharpness of the golden spell disturbs his meridians instantly. At the same time, his katana hit Li Shi's energy shield. Sparks flew everywhere as metal and stone collided. This was a choice destined for both sides to suffer. Asada. Who's calling him? Saito Asada stopped. Asada. The voice sounded again, like a cool breeze blowing over a hill. It sounded like a gentle and dignified neighbor's elder sister whom he admired when he was young. Saito Asada couldn't help but look up. Her skirt is as bright as blooming flowers. Her body contains the colors of everything in Mount Fuji, but they are not contradictory. As for her face, Saito Asada doesn't dare to look at it at all. Asada, although you are deceived by Orochi, you are devout to serve the gods. You can be the grand priest of the shrine. Those shrine attendants and Nihinese cultivators who are attacking all stop. The shadow floating in the air gives them a familiar strange feeling. It seems that the feeling of being watched grow up by a woman whose face can't be seen clearly is lingering. Saito Asada also has this feeling, Or he feels it more strongly. Can he be the grand priest of the shrine? He suddenly understands who the woman in the flower dress is, Kanahana Kaiaheim, the guardian goddess of the holy mountain. The divine voice he listened to in the early days has always been the voice of the monster Orochi? Saito Asada's katana falls to the ground. I don't deserve to be the grand priest. Seeing a shadow falling slowly, Lin Luoran is not very surprised. However, the arrogant Orochi under the hard soil layers suddenly becomes silent. Lin Luoran even feels that it is trembling. You didn't seem to notice my existence that day. Mortal Heart Fairy, why are you not surprised? The shadow's voice is gentle. Lin Luoran finds that she is not speaking Nihanese. Don't you also know that I am Mortal Heart? Lin Luoran doesn't lie, but she also sweats nervously from speculation to confirmation. If Chickadee's testimony wasn't false, there must have been a trace of the color of Chickadee's skirt at the time of the murder and the disappearance. Lin Luoran begins to think that everything is the doing of the Kanahana Kaiaheim. However, the statue dug up in Kamaba Park is a monster with 8 heads and 8 tails. Kanahana Kaiaheim naturally can't gather the power of faith for others. Then, is Orochi plotting to seize the power of faith belonging to the guardian goddess of Mount Fuji? Lin Luoran is not clear about the grudge between the two. At that time, she doesn't even know that Orochi is suppressed under Mount Fuji. However, when she enters the dream and sees the vivid Edo period, the incoherent fragments finally become a complete clue. Tokugawa Yasu did something when he expanded Hongusengen Taisha Shrine 400 years ago. He helped Orochi to seize the power of faith. More than 100 years later, his great-grandson, Tokugawa Yashimyun, inherited the will of his ancestors and built a falcon hunting ground in Shibuya. He buried the statue of Orochi as a medium to absorb the negative emotions of the army as nourishment for the dark power of faith. This made Tokugawa Yasu have a dream inside the volcano of Mount Fuji for 400 years and helped Orochi create the dark power of faith for 400 years. If the falcon hunting ground hadn't become a peaceful park, Orochi and the dream world wouldn't have had the idea to lure living people into the dream. Then, there wouldn't have been her trip to Neon and the reappearance of the goddess Kanahana Kaiaheim in front of her, right? However, according to the Fire Phoenix's sharp eyesight, the shadow in front of her should be just the remnant mind left by the god when she abandoned the human world. After many years of incense, she has independent thinking and performs duties on behalf of the god. She was imprisoned by Orochi in an insidious way. The latter may think that it has completely eliminated this remnant mind. However, it doesn't know that this is also a strong person. She has been hiding her strength for 400 years just to give a fatal blow when she is free. Go down the mountain as soon as possible after you go up. The volcano will erupt at any time. The shadow raises her hand and those dying Nihanese young people are sent out of the crater. Lin Luoran is surprised. You don't blame them? The shadow shakes her head. Blame? Even gods can make mistakes, let alone these mortals. What is blame? As a shadow that has just gained independent consciousness, it can't understand the emotions of mortals. She is transformed by the remnant mind of the goddess Kanahana Kaiaheim. The former has long been an indifferent god who has cut off the mortal feelings. Maybe she still knows joy, anger, sorrow, and joy for many years. However, when she left this trace of divine mind, she may only have mercy. Lin Luoran is thoughtful. She points at Tokugawa Yasu, who is curled up on a pile of bones under the volcano wall. He is so old that he doesn't look like a human. What about him? Do you blame him? Lin Luoran can feel that when she asks this question, Tokugawa Yasu, who has only one breath left, can't even feel his weak breath. He doesn't die suddenly. He is holding his breath and waiting for the answer. The shadow hesitates for a while. 400 years ago, he led people to expand the Hongusengen Taisha Shrine. When he changed the layout of the shrine and imprisoned me, I really didn't like him very much. I can't feel at ease when I think of his face. Is this resentment? Lin Luoran nods. The shadow sighs, but I forgive him when I see him now. Lin Luoran looks sideways. Tokugawa Yasu, who only has a layer of skin left, moves slightly. He even tears. Although the water vapor is instantly evaporated by the heat of the ground fire, Lin Luoran can see clearly that Tokugawa Ieyasu's tears are all gone. A group of faith light like an incandescent lamp floats to the shadow and submerges between her eyebrows. Is this the power of faith of Tokugawa Ieyasu before his death? With the huge power of faith of Tokugawa Ieyasu which turns from black to white before his death, the face of the shadow can finally be seen. This is a very amiable woman. Lin Luoran has never thought that the first goddess she sees will have single eyelids. Lin Luoran has no chance to talk to her again. Orochi finally tears off its disguise of being afraid of the shadow at this moment. Very good. One has the power of faith and the other has Godhead. After I take over, it will be the best of both worlds. Its trembling voice is gone, leaving only complacency. The soil layer is completely cracked and Orochi's head comes out of the lava. Lin Luoran frowns. Mr. Lin and others should have evacuated from Mount Fuji, right? Then does she still need to fight desperately with Orochi? Lin Luoran is not a saint to use her personal ability to save ordinary people in Neon she doesn't like. She hesitates and even feels it is not worth it. The lava overflows the water dome and the volcano is erupting. Lin Luoran is hesitant to leave or fight. In this split second, she saw the woman in the dress of flowers, who did not have her own name and had just gained independent consciousness, leave behind an unusually beautiful smile, her face covered with a layer of holy and pure light. Her solidified figure is gradually collapsing and returning to a small light spot of the power of faith. Little by little, wherever the light spot goes, the angry lava is pacified and solidified. Orochi's laughter stops abruptly. This is the most sacred light in the world, the power of faith belonging to millions of ordinary people. Lin Luoran is sent out of the crater in the water dome. The latter is full of emotions. Why do you do this? The shadow is about to disappear. Her smile is more beautiful than the dress of flowers. You will understand. This is the duty of a god. But you are not a true god. Do you also need to protect the mountain and the people with your body? Lin Luoran doesn't have the chance to ask this question. Everything has been settled. The mushroom cloud shrouds over Mount Fuji. There is no big explosion as imagined and Mount Fuji does not collapse. If it were not for the rising volcanic ash, no one could imagine what happened a moment ago. The last remnant god of Nippon perished together with Yamada no Orochi. Chapter 362. At the beginning of July, Luodong finishes his last exam and the summer vacation comes as scheduled. More than a month ago, Luodong came back from Neon, which made him restless for a long time. It took him a long time to calm down. He finally understands why his sister doesn't want him to get involved in these things too early. His low level of cultivation is only a small part of the reason. The main reason is that his state of mind can't stand the test. For example, after he came back from Neon, he heard his classmates talking about Mount Fuji during the evening class. It was like a silent movie. They only saw the volcanic ash but didn't hear the sound of eruption. It was so strange. Could he tell them that it was because the goddess guarding Mount Fuji chose to perish together with Orochi that the disaster was stopped? For example, he heard his classmates talking about the blurry pictures taken by Neon satellite surveillance to prove the miracle of the goddess of Mount Fuji. Can he tell them that some of the blurry pictures are even his sister? Speaking of which, he even made a deal with the goddess of Mount Fuji. These unspeakable secrets make Luodong suffer. Not only does it affect his studies, but it also affects his state of mind when it comes to cultivation. After the last exam, Luodong waits for Huang Weijian and Wei Shui. The three of them are waiting for Ma Ming and Fatty from his school. Luodong really wants to fly back to our city to see if Lin Luoran is still angry. However, he has to take care of Wei Shui. The four of them have decided to take the train back to our city. In 2018, the rise in prices slowed down and finally stopped at a level that ordinary people loved and hated. For example, a special ticket from the capital to our city costs 2,000 yuan, including the cost of the plane and fuel. Wei Shui's living expenses are less than 1,500 yuan. During the summer tourist season, the ticket price of 2,000 yuan is normal. It is indeed too expensive for Wei Shui to fly back to our city. Wei Shui unpacks her luggage from the dormitory. The fatty is already driving the flashy little car. To their surprise, there is a girl with exquisite makeup on the passenger seat. She is holding the fatty's arm to show her sovereignty. Could this be little fatty's girlfriend? Even Huang Weijian, who is usually quiet, is shocked. The fatty is too good at hiding. He suddenly has a girlfriend and wants to take her home for the summer vacation. They can't get used to it. Huang Weijian looks at the little car. There are only 2 seats left. How can they sit? The last 2 seats are occupied by Wei Shui's luggage. Luo Dong and the 2 girls take a taxi to his and Huang Weijian's apartment near the university. Ma Ming is driving the car behind them. His girlfriend, who is holding his hand, says coquettishly, "I don't think you're the kind of person who would hang out with them. Why do you want to take the train back with them?" The fatty puffs a smoke ring and looks at his girlfriend with warning eyes. "Are you going to say that they are of poor students? Sometimes, what you see isn't necessarily the truth. You're smart and should know what to do." Of course, Ma Ming was not as stupid as he looked. His girlfriend was a little scheming, but he was too lazy to expose her. He just took it as a pleasure. He could buy her branded bags, let her shop as she pleased, and even bring her back to Chengdu, but she could never cross his bottom line. Luo Dong, Huang Weijian and Wei Shui are Ma Ming's bottom line. Little Fatty knows that he may take over his father's job and become a private boss. He will do a lot of big business, but Ma Ming knows that he will never forget that summer vacation, staring at the scorching sun. The 4 of them hawked tofu pudding for only 3 yuan a bowl. That summer vacation, each of them earned more than 10,000 yuan, but Ma Ming didn't care about it. What he cared about was that it was the first time he had earned money and the first time someone treated him as a real friend. Friendship was something that lasted for a long time. Especially after he left home and came to the capital to study at the university and met all kinds of people, Ma Ming increasingly felt how precious this friendship, which was really established in junior high school, was. He touches the jade plate on his neck. They don't treat him as an outsider. Ma Ming sees Huang and Luo Dong as brothers. When they arrive at Luo Dong's apartment, Ma Ming's girlfriend finally stops looking down on them when she sees the apartment, which is too luxurious for students. After packing their luggage, Ma Ming leaves his car in the underground parking lot of the apartment. The 5 of them go to the train station together. When the stuffy atmosphere on the bus dissipates, the young people finally have the energy to chat. "Hey, do you think my sister has forgiven us?" Luo Dong pokes Huang's arm. Huang rolls his eyes and says in a muffled voice, "I don't know." In fact, he feels guilty too. If he had known that Lin Luoran would be so angry, he wouldn't have taken Luo Dong to Neon secretly. Curiosity kills. Tong Ye, Ma Ming's girlfriend, is curious. "Is your sister powerful? Why do you seem to be afraid of her?" Luo Dong is stunned. "Who says they are afraid of Lin?" Wei Shui laughs. "That's why we care about our image in Lin Luoran's heart. In the end, did she ask you two to make trouble?" Wei Shui couldn't help but gloat at the thought of how the 2 of them had left Cui Wanlu with her and how she had spent those frustrating days. Tong Ye wants to ask what kind of trouble they made, but it's the first time she meets the 3 men. She will not do such a reckless thing after adjusting her attitude. However, seeing that Ma Ming is chatting happily with them and the 3 men care about Wei Shui's feelings, Tong Ye admits that she is jealous. She can see that Wei Shui is also a girl from an ordinary family. Why can she be surrounded by rich young masters? Tong Ye doesn't think that there is something called friendship in this world besides love, which can make people forget about the difference in identity. While Luo Dong and Huang are worrying, Lin Luoran is not at home at the moment. She is under the water of Dongting, using the Seaview Pavilion to check the situation around Mount June and Dongting. The trip to Neon has inspired Lin Luoran a lot, especially when the remnant spirit of the goddess guarding the mountain chose to die together with Orochi. Lin Luoran is deeply moved. Is this the god? Even if it is just a remnant spirit with independent consciousness. Lin Luoran suddenly finds that she has occupied the godhead for nothing. In fact, she has done too little to protect this land. To be precise, before this, she has occupied the title like a child's play. She has never thought about how to be a qualified god. Besides, she has to refine a weapon for Zheng Tian. Lin Luoran simply comes to the Dongting Dragon Palace to meditate. Recently, she has also helped some devout pilgrims to solve their troubles. She finds that the fire of the power of faith is getting brighter and brighter. The road to becoming a god is long. Maybe this is the accumulation of power? Lin Luoran has seen the 1-meter-long golden carp in the pool of the Dragon Palace. It is more majestic after changing its scales. Lin Luoran is looking forward to the day when it can get the inheritance by awakening its bloodline. Diliusirup is too uncertain. Although awakening bloodline is not reliable, as long as the golden carp lives on, there is still a small chance when it grows up. Sometimes, Lin Luoran uses her wakan to wash the impurities in the bodies of the fish and shrimps. She also feeds them the best food produced in her space. Lin Luoran hopes that such a good environment can make up for their congenital deficiencies. Lin Luoran has figured out the difference between the 3 different colors of the land in the space. The red land has the most reiki and is the best place to plant spirit medicines and spirit herbs. The black land is slightly weaker, but its state is the same as the average level of the space before. It can be said that the things planted here are no different from before the drastic change of the space, whether it is rich in reiki or taste. As for the yellow land, Lin Luoran finds that the species planted here still taste delicious after harvest. There is no change. However, the amount of reiki there is far less than that in the black land. These are vegetables and fruits with good taste. They are almost the same as those grown in the backyard of Lin's house. The reiki here is very weak. Thinking of the spirit medicines and herbs planted on the red land, Lin Luoran feels that the space is concentrating reiki to feed the most important species. Anyway, the time difference has not changed. Lin Luoran can still choose the black land with medium effect to plant her daily needs, and she plants some common trees on the yellow land. The soul wood still occupies a large area on the black land. Lin Luoran is not a black-hearted person. Since she knows that Yang Lisha takes the soul wood to save the acacia tree, she can't do such a wicked thing as transplanting the soul wood to the yellow land with little reiki. The soul wood has been 3,000 years old. It has grown so long that it needs 2 people to hold it together. Such a strange species is hard to find. Lin Luoran has already cut a few branches and inserted them in the corner of the yellow land. Anyway, the several acres of land there are very large. It doesn't take up much space to plant them slowly. There were many sundries under the apple tree. Since Lin Luoran can enter the cabin and has her own room, she has put them all away. And used scorpion shells, millennium-old luminous sand, some clothes that she seldom wears, monkey wine, spirit wine that she brewed herself, emeralds that she used to exchange for elixirs but have no reiki after her cultivation. Every cabinet in the room is like Doraemon's pocket. Things are put in different categories. Lin Luoran can hold what she wants in her hands even when she is outside the space. Since she got the teardrop from the little girl Momo, the space finally seems to regard her as its owner. Everything becomes very convenient. The soul wood has grown up. Yang Lisha's acacia tree can't wait any longer. Mrs. Lin is also over 50 years old. Lin Luoran can't avoid going to Penglai anymore. After dealing with the trivial things at home and ensuring the safety of her family, she should be able to go to Mount Penglai without worry. A jade step appears in Lin Luoran's hand. This is the way to heaven for the fake saintess to leave the earth. The bright star atlas on it contains countless magic circles. The crazy Taoist said that only people in the bearing essence period can understand the star atlas behind the first step. If Lin Luoran wants to really refine weapons, it is not enough to rely on the introduction of sword and simple defense magic circles. She has to combine the understanding of the star atlas to figure out her own magic circle. Only by mastering the essence can she cooperate with the 5 elements and change the effect of the magic circle at will. This road may be long, but Lin Luoran has to take the first step. Chapter 363. In the solar system we live in, many people know that it is composed of 8 planets. More specifically, they also know that there is a moon, a satellite of the Earth. In fact, the solar system, in a broad sense, in addition to the most central sun, the 8 planets of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, Earth, Uranus, Neptune, comets and interstellar dust, it is also full of planetary belts composed of small rocks. It is the second small celestial body area called the Kuiper Belt. Outside the Kuiper Belt, there are also the scattered disk of deserted islands, the solar circle and the still hypothetical Oort cloud. Lynn Luoran's astronomical knowledge comes from her early years in school. In her impression, the solar system is the picture of 8 planets revolving around the sun. When her spiritual mind enters the star map behind the first level of the Jade Stairs, she realizes for the first time that the beauty of the starry sky is not limited to the pictures in paper books or the computer special effects in science fiction blockbusters. It is more real and breathtaking than all the information she has seen before. Every rotation of a star is full of spirituality. The sun's flame is constantly changing, the cold rocky planet belt, and the comet with a long tail. Even the existence of the interstellar dust contained an indescribable meaning in this harmonious picture. Lynn Luoran can pull a planet closer with her mind. At the right distance, she can even see the mountains and waters, craters of different sizes, plains, rift valleys and basins on the Earth. This is the home planet where Lynn Luoran was born. It is the first time for her to see the whole picture of it. Mercury, which is the closest to the sun, is full of potholes. Lynn Luoran guesses that it has been hit by countless meteorites. It is also the first time for her to know that there is no liquid water on Mercury. The side close to the sun has a temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. Even lead and tin can melt, let alone water. Mercury is also very small, smaller than the 3rd and 6th satellites of Jupiter. Lynn Luoran thinks of the legend of Chang'e flying to the moon in Huaxia. She also pulls the moon closer to take a closer look. It is full of gravel and craters of different sizes. She doesn't even find a rabbit hair. Why do stars rotate in such a trajectory? Is it because of the mass, distance and gravity mentioned by scientific and technological civilizations? Or is it because the stars themselves contain a kind of power? Like the arrow of light she accidentally touched, Lynn Luoran can feel that she has touched the power of the sun when she shoots the arrow. Just like the special celestial phenomenon over the delta on the night when Bermuda's secret land was opened. She also saw with her own eyes that in the Tower of Babel, the Babylonian high priest used the power of stars to control the fake saintess and the ancestor of the monsters of wood. Weren't these 2 mighty figures also as insignificant as dust particles in front of the stars? There was also the Emperor Molasses that would be sprinkled every 60 years along with the moonlight. It could make plants and beasts gain intelligence. Was it also because it absorbed some of the moon's power that it had such an effect? In front of Lynn Luoran is a magic circle. If these celestial bodies are connected by lines, then the celestial bodies will be the nodes of the magic circle, and their trajectories will be the connecting lines of the nodes. Some of the celestial bodies in the solar system became large planets, and some became satellites surrounding the planets. There are also 8 planets in the solar system. Why does the Earth have intelligent species, while Mars is a desert planet with sand dunes and gravel everywhere? There is no stable liquid water. Every year, dust storms often occur. There is water ice and dry ice at both poles, which melt with the seasons. Earth scientists all think that Mars is the most suitable place for human habitation except the Earth in the solar system. Why didn't humans breed on Mars? Except for the influence of objective conditions, does it have nothing to do with its position in the solar system and its orbit? They are in different places, so even if the conditions are similar, they are doomed to not become the same planet. It was just like the path of array formations. Defensive and offensive array formations of the same type differed from each other in their nodes. If the node's position is changed, it will have a completely different effect. Is it because the node's position is changed that it can no longer find the corresponding star? Or could it be that by changing the position of the node and making it correspond to another star, the effect would be changed? Lynn Luoran exits the star atlas and ponders for a long time. Then she starts to deduce on the ground with the jade as a chess piece. The Dragon Palace is quiet. No one disturbs her. She is not lonely because the fish and shrimps in the pool are her companions. Lynn Luoran feels that although she has set up magic circles several times, She actually hasn't touched the door of the magic circle yet. She is back to the hard fighting period when she has a mountain of treasures but no master to guide her. She deduces and simulates countless times. She places the prototype of the magic circle on the ground and describes the few magic circles she knows from the bright sword and the protective jade pendant over and over again in her mind. Although it is a little pitiful, Lin Luoran enjoys it. She always knows that she is like weeds that can't be trampled to death. Her talent is not outstanding. Whether it is in the past or in personal ability enhancement, if she wants to stand out, she must rely on tenacity and hard work. She is not afraid of the goal that is too far away. What she is afraid of is that she can't find the goal that she can work hard for. This is the case for personal ability enhancement, going to Penglai, and learning magic circles. Lin Luoran doesn't feel bored at all. Compared with ordinary cultivators, she has gained too much. Sweat and energy are the price of balance of the law of nature. It is bustling outside Mount June. Two nervous teenagers go home empty-handed. They come to Mount June. They don't know that Lin Luoran is obsessed with the star atlas. They wander around Mount June. They still can't find a way to enter. In order to coax Wei Shui, Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin have promised in private that they will take Wei Shui to the Dragon Palace after they coax Lin Luo, the grandaunt of the Lin family. Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin have never been there. How can the two teenagers not be curious? Fatty Ma Ming scratches his ears and cheeks anxiously after knowing the news. His heart almost flies to the bottom of Dongting Lake. However, Tongya is like an octopus. Wherever Ma Ming is, Tongya must be there. It makes Ma Ming doubt whether it is the worst decision to have a girlfriend. However, seeing that his three friends can't contact Lin Luo, Ma Ming's mind is balanced. The five of them play in Mount June. Seeing that the water quality of Dongting water is now good and the air is fresh, they all want to play here. In Dongting, the Lin family occupies the best location. Except for high-rise apartments, most of the land has been built into vacation villas. Xing Tian acts like a nouveau riche. He can't wait to build a gorgeous palace for his grandmaster beside Dongting Lake. Knowing that Lin Luo is not a flamboyant person, Xing Tian takes a step back. He chooses some of the best locations and keeps some houses. He neither rents nor sells them. He accumulates them for the Lin family. When Huang Weijin arrives in Dongting, he knows that he also has a big villa under his name. The Lin family has never treated him as an outsider. Huang Weijin knows this very well. However, isn't Xing Tian too generous? Ma Ming hears that the two-story house on Mount June Island, which is more expensive than the villas in the capital of Shanghai, belongs to Huang Weijin. His eyes are green with jealousy. No, I have to live in your new house. You are so corrupt. Is it corrupt? Huang Weijin checks his account. The money from selling wild ginseng is not enough to cover the high consumption in the capital. Like Lin Luodong, he lives in a mansion and is poor, just like Lin Luodong. Although he doesn't know how much money his family has, he is too embarrassed to ask for it. In contrast, Ma Ming, who is generous on their way to Dongting, is really corrupt. The few of them fooled around and settled down in the small villa. Tongya couldn't stand the nightlife without going to bars. Wei Shui, who had been very sensible since she was a child, felt happy that she didn't have to work and study during the summer vacation. It was rare that she didn't have a part-time job. The five of them play in Dongting for a week. Wei Shui's family has called to urge him to go back. This night, Lin Luodong finally receives Lin Luoran's call. When did you get here? A breeze blows over and wakes up Luodong and Huang's drowsiness. Is it Lin Luoran's voice? Sister suddenly comes out? Of course, Lin Luoran doesn't come out. She is still in the Dragon Palace. What wakes her up from the intoxicated state of Star Atlas is not that Lin Luodong and others have been wandering around Dongting Lake these days. It is that the fly Apsara's painted sculpture in Lin Luoran's Ocean of Consciousness is abnormal. She actually has the first believer who can directly contact the painted sculpture in the Ocean of Consciousness. However, sensing the despair coming from the light of faith, this unknown devout believer of hers seemed to be in big trouble. Lin Luoran is at the critical stage of deduction. It is impossible for her to manifest, So she contacts Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin. What? If we solve this problem, we can not only make up for our crime, but also enjoy a day trip to the Dragon Palace. Luodong and Huang Weijian are nodding their heads like chickens eating rice. Doing one thing well can pacify two angry women. It's such a good deal. Chapter 364. Lu Geiying, 49 years old, has worked in the street office for many years. Although she usually speaks with a loud voice, she is actually a kind old lady who is rough on the outside but kind on the inside. She lost her husband when she was young. She worked hard to raise a daughter who was studying in the Academy of Fine Arts. She was good at painting and beautiful. Her neighbors all said she was lucky. In fact, every family has its own difficulties. She has always said it in front of others. How can she complain to outsiders about the hard work of raising her daughter and the high tuition fee of the Academy of Fine Arts? However, no matter how hard it is, God will always reward kind people. After years of hard work, her daughter was admitted to the Academy of Fine Arts. Although the tuition fee is not cheap, Lu Geiying's daughter is really talented in painting. Until the year before last, Lu Geiying was found to have diabetes. This is a torturous disease. It won't kill you right away. It is really a long-term money hole. Not to mention taking insulin, she also needs to pay attention to what she eats. The monthly medical expenses are a large amount. Part of it can be reimbursed by medical insurance. However, coupled with her daughter's high tuition fee, it still makes the family with only Lu Geiying working hard to make ends meet. She was mentally strong at first and insisted on treatment. Until the year before last, the doctor said that the disease had metastasized to the eyes due to the complications of diabetes. If the eyeballs were not removed, her life would be in danger. Lu Geiying feels that the sky suddenly collapses. She doesn't want to be blind, let alone be a burden to her daughter. If both eyeballs are removed, it means that she will have to retire immediately. She can't save enough money for the tuition fee of the Academy of Fine Arts only with her retirement salary. To be blind or to wait for death. Lu Geiying has been a widow for most of her life. She is reluctant to die before seeing her only daughter succeed in her studies and get married. But if she chooses to live, she is doomed to never see the light of the world again. She tossed and turned during those days. The doctor also said that even if the eyeballs are removed, there is no guarantee that it will not relapse. She still needs to take medicine for a long time to control it. By then, can she afford her daughter's education and her own medical treatment with her retirement salary alone? Lu Geiying realizes that she can't hide her illness anymore and confesses to her daughter who is studying in the capital. Lu Xinyo rushes back from the capital overnight. Seeing her mother who has lost a lot of weight, the mother and daughter hold their heads and cry together. After crying, Lu Xinyo decides to remove the eyeballs to save her mother's life. She had some talent in painting and would usually consign some of her exercises to the gallery. However, because she was talented, she was naturally a little arrogant. She would set a high price. Who would pay for an unknown painter? It is common for her to sell one in a few months. As for computer graphics and design, it was nothing in the eyes of people like her who studied drawing. The part-time job that she looked down upon in the past is now a life-saving straw. Lu Xinyo comforts Lu Geiying and asks her to contact the hospital to prepare for the operation. She goes back to the capital to sell paintings and raise money for the part-time job. Lu Geiying is convinced. She thinks that she will have the regret in her heart. Will she will. Of go, she thought. So, basis she. And she will. And her. And old she old. She of. She wants to see the Dongting landscape on behalf of her husband. Lu Geiying regards this as the last trip of her life. She goes to Yeyang Tower and sees the vastness of Dongting. Her worry about the operation dissipates a lot. She also hears from other tourists that the incense in Mount June is very efficacious. Lu Geiying buys a boat ticket and goes all the way to Mount June. She doesn't expect that there are so many tourists in such a small Mount June. It is so crowded. She is a little disappointed and worships the Xiangfei temple. She hears others say that the most efficacious one is the Lu Yi well. The auspicious light on Mount June comes from this well. Thinking that her future is unknown after the operation, she really buys incense and worships it devoutly. She only prays that the merciful Bodhisattva can bless Lu Xinyo to complete her studies smoothly and have a happy future. When Lu Ging worships the incense and candles devoutly, she just believes in it. Unexpectedly, the surprise makes her a real believer. At that time, she finishes burning the incense and is about to leave. A girl with a pure appearance asks her what year and month it is. Lu Guing doesn't think much at that time. She just thinks that young people are muddle-headed and nags her for a while. Unexpectedly, the girl disappears in a blink of an eye. Lu Guing is confused for a while. Then it rains above Mount June. The golden spiritual rain falls into Lu Guing's eyes. She feels that her blurred vision seems to be clearer. Hearing other people say something about spiritual rain, Lu Guing's heart is pounding. Are there really gods, Buddhas, and immortals in this world? No one is sure. Now cultivators have been confirmed. Her daughter Lu Xinyo searches for various videos taken by others on the internet all day long. People of Huaxia all want to knock on the gate of immortality. They still don't know the effect of spiritual rain. Anyway, there is no harm, right? Lu Guiying is desperate. She opens her mouth regardless of her image and holds her hands to catch the golden spiritual rain falling from the sky. It is sweet with a medicinal fragrance. This may be really good stuff. Lu Guiying's more exaggerated action than others also benefits her more. At that time, she feels that her body tortured by the disease is much lighter. After the spiritual rain falls, a female voice rings over Mount June. To appreciate your sincerity, I specially send spiritual rain to wash the dust. No matter how long it takes, Lu Guiying will clearly remember these words and this voice. When she looks up again, in the blurred water mirror above Mount June, others can only see that it is a fairy of heaven in colorful clothes. However, Lu Guiying recognizes the outline at a glance. It is clearly the woman who just asked her what year it is now. It turns out that she is a fairy of heaven. No wonder she doesn't know the time of the mortal world. What a great chance. Lu Guiying kneels down devoutly. It must be the mortal heart fairy, who appreciates her devotion to burning incense. Therefore, she shows up and sends the spiritual rain to help many believers who are sick like her among the pilgrims. Lu Guiying worships the fairy. When she returns to her hometown, she insists that she has met an immortal. Her daughter Lu Xinyo only thinks that she has fallen into the organization and is brainwashed. After finishing her work, she comes back from the capital and takes stubborn Lu Guiying to the hospital for examination. Her diabetes is not completely cured, but the lesions have subsided and the indexes are also close to normal. That is to say, there is no need for surgery to remove the eyeball. Lu Guiying is more and more sure that it is a true immortal. Lu Xinyo also becomes skeptical. She knows how serious her mother's illness is. MLM organizations don't guarantee treatment. Although her diabetes is not completely cured, it is true that her eyes do not need to be removed. Among the pilgrims who witnessed the miracle in Mount June at that time, Lu Guiying is probably the only one who has seen the true appearance of the fairy. She pesters her daughter to draw the fairy for worship. Occasionally, there are a few photos on the internet. The colorful clothes are flying. According to Lu Guiying's high requirements, Lu Xinyo draws and changes again and again. It takes her half a month to draw Mortal Heart Fairy, at least 80%. Lu Guiying's illness is under control and she still goes to work in the street office. However, she hangs the portrait of Mortal Heart Fairy in the study. The elder sister burns incense every morning and evening and she is very pious. Not only did she burn incense piously, but she also liked to nag in front of the portrait whenever she was happy. Whenever she encountered difficulties at work, she would pour out a few words to the fairy. It was as if she had a backbone and the courage to face difficulties. With Lu Guiying's knowledge, she certainly doesn't understand that this is actually the backfeeding of the power of faith. People with faith always have more courage to face life. This is something that people who muddle through life can't understand. If life is always smooth, cultivators probably don't have to pursue the path of immortality. They have to compete to be true immortals in the world. Lu Guiying feels that life is getting better and better. However, Lu Xinyo fainted when she was doing part-time work this spring and was sent to the hospital. Leukemia. Lu Ging fainted immediately when she saw the diagnosis. What if she wakes up? She has to cure it. No matter how much money it costs, she has to cure it. Her daughter is so talented at the same age. She doesn't even have time to fall in love. Does she want her to wait for death? While undergoing chemotherapy, she waits for a suitable bone marrow match. Lu Xinyo's classmates donated a sum of money for the medical expenses, which is a drop in the bucket during chemotherapy. Lu Ging plans to sell her house for a transplant when she has a suitable bone marrow. Half a year has passed. Lu Xinyo, who used to be healthy and beautiful, has been tortured by chemotherapy. Losing her hair is only one of the reasons. She is so thin that she vomits whatever she eats during chemotherapy. Lu Ging has insomnia all night and hair loss as if she is the one who has leukemia. If this is all, Lu Ging feels that she can still hold on. However, bad news came from the hospital last night. Lu Xinyo's condition has changed. She must have a bone marrow transplant immediately. Otherwise, she may not be able to live for 3 days. Bone marrow transplant. She has waited for half a year, but there is no suitable bone marrow match. Will it suddenly appear in 3 days? Lu Ging hangs up the phone. She is so anxious that she spits a mouthful of blood on the offering table with the incense and candle in her hand. Merciful fairy, have you seen the suffering of your believers? I beg you, please have mercy and save my little daughter. Lu Ging is desperate. She doesn't want to give up the last straw. She struggles to get up and kowtows to the portrait. Kowtowing and begging, her forehead is soon broken. The blood of a loving mother and the devout faith. She doesn't even dare to think about how she will bear the grief of losing her daughter after losing her husband in the early years if she can't get the fairy's response. She is not the most powerful person among the fairies who believe in mortal heart fairy, nor is she the richest or the one who can buy expensive offerings. Lu Ging, 49 years old, is just an ordinary old lady who has worked in the street office for many years. She is the most ordinary member of the working class in Huaxia. But she was the only one who painted Mortal Heart Fairy into a painting scroll after returning from Mount June and hung it in the study. She offered incense every day without stopping. Her pious heart of faith had long been connected with the object she believed in across space. She is the most devout believer with a small force but a sincere heart. Chapter 365. Tick-tock, 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 the sound of the clock. With every passing second, it was as if the Grim Reaper was approaching. The red light of the emergency room is still on. Lu Ging buries her face in her knees and her shoulders shake slightly. Finally, someone opens the door of the emergency room and the doctors come out with tired faces. Lu Ging suddenly looks up. "Doctor, how is my daughter?" The attending doctor is used to seeing life and death. At this time, looking at this middle-aged woman's sunken eyes and bloodshot eyes, his cold heart can't help but feel a little strange. Although we have saved her from this infection, we also found that she has a tendency of intracranial hemorrhage. If there is no matching bone marrow in these 2 days, you have to be mentally prepared. Lu Ging's legs soften and she almost falls to the ground. In the past few months, she has learned a lot of common sense because of Lu Xinyo's illness. Infection and intracranial hemorrhage are the most likely to kill patients in the treatment process of acute leukemia. The former has been improved and the death rate of acute leukemia caused by infection is very low. However, there is no ideal treatment for intracranial hemorrhage. It is the most important cause of death of acute leukemia. The doctor says that Lu Xinyo has a tendency of intracranial hemorrhage, which is a death sentence. Lu Ging shivers and waits for half an hour before she feels a little strength. She changes into sterile clothes and enters the ward. Lu Xinyo's face is so thin that it is only the size of a palm. She lies on the bed with tubes all over her body. She can't eat anymore and only relies on the nutrient solution to keep her alive. Lu Ging sits down by her daughter's bed. You. Lu Xinyo's eyelids move but she can't open her eyes. Lu Ging's tears are like a faucet that can't be turned off. She feels like she has fallen into an ice cave. It is a hot July day, but she is shivering with cold. Maybe the hospital also thinks that this patient has no hope of survival. When Lu Guing is sitting there, only one nurse comes to record the data and change the nutrient solution. The ward is so deserted. As for Lu Guing herself, she has completely lost her soul. Mother and daughter are connected. In such a close place, she can feel that Lu Xinyo's vitality is gradually fading even without looking at the physical index. Although she didn't believe it, she had a feeling that her daughter might not be able to survive the night. She has been holding Lu Xinyo's hand and feels that her body temperature is very cold. Lu Guing doesn't think about eating at all. If Lu Xinyo can't survive tonight, she may not want to live anymore. It's better to cross the bridge of helplessness together and reunite as a family. She sat there in a daze, not knowing when the sky had darkened. It was already 1 o'clock in the morning, and there was suddenly light in the dark ward. Lu Guing's dull eyes were dazzled by the light, and she finally reacted. 2 young men in their late teens stood before the bed. One of them studied the medical records on the bedside table and asked in surprise, "Excuse me, are you Madame Lu Guing who lives in Happiness neighborhood in Jiang City's Furong district?" Lu Guing didn't know the 2 young people in front of her. She held her daughter's hand tightly and looked at them blankly. Because the 2 young men were gentle and kind, she did not scream immediately. "Oh, our visit may be too abrupt. May I ask if there is a female fairy with the Taoist name Mortal Heart in your family?" Lu Guing held her breath. She didn't publicize the fact that she worshipped Mortal Heart Fairy because of her daughter's reminder. How did these 2 young men know it? She nodded unconsciously. One of the young men breathed a sigh of relief. He took out a valuable jade bottle from his arms, poured out a fragrant pill, opened Lu Xinyo's mouth and let her swallow it. The other young man began to pull out the tubes on Lu Xinyo, including the 4 drip. Lu Guing finally reacted and shouted angrily, "Who are you? What are you going to do to my daughter?" She rushed up to push away the young man who was trying to pick up Lu Xinyo. The young man was stunned. "Get out, all of you, get out. No one is allowed to touch my daughter. She is fine. She will get better." Woo! Lu Guing was a little crazy. She was not sober and regarded the 2 young men as hospital staff. Lu Xinyo was still alive and they wanted to make room for her. That was too much. "Aunt Lu, you are mistaken. Let's put it this way. Did you make a great wish in front of Mortal Heart Fairy to save your daughter?" Lu Guing was stunned and stared at the young man in disbelief. The young man's eyes were very gentle and calm. He didn't seem to be lying. Was it really the fairy's mercy that she heard her suffering? As a nobody, Lu Guing knew very well what she was worth. She also knew that she seldom offered offerings except incense. How could Mortal Heart Fairy suddenly hear her wish? Seeing that she still didn't believe it, the young man didn't explain. He opened the window and let her look out. A big golden eagle stayed in the air. The ward was on the 11th floor. The golden eagle stayed outside the window as if waiting for them. "This is..." Lu Guing's eyes widened. "Isn't this the mysterious eagle of Huaxia that was very popular a few years ago? Why is it here?" Although the golden eagle in front of her had a small crown and a bigger body, it was no different from the mysterious eagle of Huaxia in other aspects. "We are going to take your daughter to Mount June for treatment. We can get there in half an hour by eagle. With all due respect, your daughter can't afford any delay." The young man gently picked up Lu Xinyo, seemingly effortless. Lu Guing was stupefied and watched him carefully step on the eagle's back. Another young man came here on a sword. "Haven't you made it clear? Saving people is more important. Brother Yuan, I'll take your flying sword. Let Aunt Lu sit on Goldie's back." At this time, Lu Guing's heart was sensitive and fragile. It was really not suitable to be separated from Lu Xinyo. Only by letting her stay with her daughter would she be able to fully trust them. Huang Weijian thought carefully and Yuan Yi nodded in agreement. A gust of wind sent Lu Guing to Goldie's back. Goldie flapped its wings. She was so scared that she clutched the golden feathers tightly. After thinking for a while, she still dared to hold her daughter's hand with one hand. "Well, it seems to be a little warm?" Lu Guing remembers that the young man in front of her once gave Lu Xinyo a fragrant pill. Now she knows that it must be the elixir that works. This ordinary mother doesn't know how to thank him. Her usual hearty and loud voice are gone, and her words are intermittent. My surname is Lin. Aunt Lu, you can call me Lin. Lin Luodong saw her embarrassment and took the initiative to chat with her. They were not familiar with each other. Lin Luodong just wanted to relieve her tension of flying in the night sky. They didn't have a topic. Lu Ging poured out her long-suppressed sadness and Lin Luodong comforted her at appropriate times. Half an hour passed quickly. When they arrived at Mount June, Lu Ging still had tears on her face. This time, she remembered that she hadn't asked the young man surnamed Lin why he suddenly appeared in the ward on behalf of Mortal Heart Fairy. However, she didn't dare to ask more about the secrets of immortals. In the quiet night of Mount June, she followed several people to Lu Yi Well. The face of Mortal Heart Fairy appeared on the water surface. Lu Guing's previous hesitation disappeared. Fairy is so kind. I am a believer. I really can't repay you. Lu Ging's forehead was still wrapped with gauze. She wanted to kneel down and kowtow again. Yuan Yi supported her. Grandmaster doesn't care about these empty courtesies. You don't have to do this. The water of Lu Yi Well was separated. Yuan Yi took the unconscious Lu Xinyo from Lin Luodong and walked down the well. The elixir could only temporarily prolong Lu Xinyo's life. If leukemia was so easy to cure, it wouldn't have become a medical problem. Lu Ging had completely trusted them at this moment. She knew she was just a mortal woman, so she didn't dare to follow them in. Fortunately, the young man surnamed Lin and another young man with long bangs also stayed. It was also the first time for Yuan Yi to come to the Dragon Palace. He would have been very excited in normal times, but now it was a matter of life and death. He carried Lu Xinyo all the way through the main hall, the long corridor, and the huge side hall. They came to the brand new royal garden of the Dragon Palace. In front of a strange tree full of thorns, a shadow has been cast. Yuan Yi stood in the shadow. When he opened his eyes again, there was another world in front of him. The Palace of Jihua. Is this the treasury of the Dragon Palace that Rong Donglin mentioned? Yuan Yi envied Rong for having been to the Dragon Palace before. He didn't have the chance to come here until a few years later. Yuan Yi carried Lu Xinyo and walked on the path. Go all the way. Lin's voice came from the depths of the palace. Yuan Yi took a breath and walked through the first palace, which was full of white mist. Rong said that this was the playground for children in the Dragon Palace. Everyone who came in had a chance to choose. Yuan Yi thought of the patient in his arms. He walked quickly through the temptations and came to the second palace. There were some messy lines on the stone floor. Yuan Yi took a look but didn't see anything special. He avoided them carefully and kept walking forward with Lu Xinyo in his arms. Yuan Yi didn't find his grandmaster Lin Luoran until he came to the seventh palace. Lin Luoran was squatting on the ground and drawing strange lines. The ground of these vast and boundless palaces was full of scratches and dots. It was the first time for Yuan Yi to see his young grandmaster slovenly. It seemed that she was immersed in a certain state. What is she calculating? Yuan Yi was very curious. He didn't disturb her but quietly watched the lines. After a while, he felt dizzy and quickly calmed down. He knew that his personal ability was not high enough, so he didn't dare to look at it anymore. How is she? Lin Luoran suddenly asked. Yuan Yi checked Lu Xinyo's pulse and answered cautiously, Grandmaster, she is not very optimistic. She has been ill for a long time. The blood and qi in her body have dried up. She is only hanging on by the elixir. Lin Luoran finally raised her head. She clapped her hands and took her attention back from the endless deduction. It took her a while to regain her spirit. She didn't have to check the pulse like Yuan Yi. She could know Lu Xinyo's physical condition just by a glance. However, Lin Luoran didn't save Lu Xinyo immediately. She thought about it and asked Yuan Yi, how much do you know about leukemia? If we don't rely on the means of cultivators, is it possible to cure it with medicine? Yuan Yi immediately realized that the Grandmaster was finally going to let Lin's develop on a large scale. Yuan Yi was also a little excited. However, he had always been cautious and didn't make any promises. Grandmaster, if the research department of Lin's combines the ancient prescription, There should be a breakthrough in less than half a month. It will take 3 months for the effective medicine to come out. Lin Luoran smiled. 3 months is very fast. Put her down and I'll have a look. You go to the first palace to choose a gift. Don't be too greedy. Rong Donglin should have told you. Just treat it normally. Yuan Yi held back the excitement in his heart and put Lu Xinyo down carefully. This girl was so lucky. In the Grandmaster's hands, the incurable disease was not really incurable. Yuan Yi sighed silently. He carefully avoided the lines on the ground and went to the first palace to try his luck. Lin Luoran began to check Lu Xinyo's body. No wonder the power of faith was so desperate. It was not easy for Lu Graying to have such a performance when her only daughter suffered from this incurable disease. Facing the request of her first devout believer, Lin Luoran had to take it seriously. Po was a little talkative and naggy tonight. I don't know if you noticed that Lin's had already written 1 million words when this chapter was updated. The book was published on April 28th. Today is December 28th. She wrote 1 million words in 8 months. Compared with high-yield writers, her speed was slow. However, Po wrote very hard. This is my first book with 1 million words. Now I'm in a wonderful mood and I want to share it with you. I'm very happy to write 1 million words and I'll work harder. Chapter 366. Leukemia, also known as blood cancer, is a malignant disease of hematopoietic tissue. It is characterized by the unlimited proliferation of a large number of non-nucleated cells in bone marrow and other hematopoietic tissues. They enter the peripheral blood and obviously absorb the core of normal blood cells. If there is a problem with hematopoietic function, bone marrow transplantation becomes the most effective treatment. In fact, bone marrow cleansing is the best way to cure leukemia immediately. With Lin Luoran's personal ability of the bearing essence period, bone marrow cleansing is not difficult except consuming her Wacken. However, she doesn't use this fastest way. It's not that she doesn't want Wacken. For Lin Luoran, who has 4 golden elixirs running in the pubic region of the Sea of Reiki, the consumption of Reiki is not too much for her. There is a faster way, which is to use dragon marrow like regrowing a broken arm. Dragon marrow is precious and it is not a special medicine that can be promoted. However, since Lin Luoran has the idea of letting Lin's pharmaceutical factory develop a special medicine, she can't just talk but do nothing. The girl named Lu Xinyo in front of her is under control. It should be no problem to observe her for a few days. When she is thinking about the treatment method, the reluctant and unruly wood wolf in the space sneers, "Can't you just use bone marrow cleansing bolus? Are you willing to do it?" Bone marrow cleansing bolus? Lin Luoran hears it for the first time and asks Wood Wolf curiously. It is probably only willing to laugh at Lin Luoran and is arrogant when she asks it to tell her the method. After being beaten by the arrogant Fire Phoenix, Wood Wolf becomes sad and honest. Bone marrow cleansing bolus is an elixir that can only be taken by cultivators with personal ability below the bearing essence period. The formula is complicated and the medicine is strict. However, it is an upper grade 6 elixir. Hearing that it is 2 grades higher than Foundation Lang bolus, Lin Luoran knows that it is impossible to promote this thing on a large scale. However, she is curious about how an elixir that can only be taken by cultivators with personal ability below the bearing essence period can reach the upper grade 6? You are ignorant. After taking the marrow cleansing bolus, cultivators below the level of bearing essence can catch up with those with 2 natures, even if they have the Taoist root of 3 natures. Marrow cleansing is not a simple thing. In ancient times, powerful people had deep bloodlines. It was common for some of their descendants to have a poor Taoist root. If there are people with a strong mind and painstakingly pursue the Tao, they can give them the marrow cleansing bolus as a reward. It is also a blessing. Before Wood Wolf finishes, Lin Luoran has a general understanding. Bone marrow cleansing bolus is the privilege of the Power X generation in the ancient world of cultivation. It may not have any effect on cultivators in the bearing essence period. No wonder the so-called formula of bolus is so complicated and the medicine used is so strict. It is still a grade 6 bolus. The fact that a person with the Taoist root of 3 natures could catch up with a person with the Taoist root of 2 natures was already enough to drive people crazy. This was especially so for those loose cultivators. If they had 3 elements, they would only be able to become outer sect disciples. If they had 2 elements, they would be able to enter the inner sect and receive guidance from famous teachers. Such a difference was enough to make those with poor Taoist foundations go crazy. Woodwolf sees that she sighs again and again but doesn't ask about the formula of bolus. It is a little anxious. There are many people with 3 natures in your family. Don't you refine a few marrow-cleansing boluses for them? Lin Luran laughs. Why should I let them take the marrow-cleansing bolus? Woodwolf is even more surprised. After being a monster for so many years, it feels that it has known the human race very well. They are greedy and selfish. Even people like Lin Luoran have their weaknesses. Doesn't she care about her relatives and friends very much? Hearing the existence of marrow-cleansing bolus, she should be eager to get the formula of bolus. Seeing Woodwolf's expression, Lin Luoran knows what it is thinking. It is said that there is a real elixir above grade 9 bolus. One is enough to make people soar. You have been a monster for so many years. Have you ever seen such a magical thing? Woodwolf shakes its head subconsciously. Lin Luoran says again, you have been a monster for so many years. Have you ever seen someone reach the peak of power by relying on all kinds of elixirs? Woodwolf still shakes its head, but the way it looks at Lin Luoran has changed. Lin Luoran ignores it and points to the 2 acres of medicine field in space. I don't lack spirit medicine. I can even make a few laying foundation cultivators in a short time. Do you know why I didn't do that? Woodwolf sighs. It thought Lin Luoran was a little cultivator who had never seen the world. However, it turns out that she is not easy to fool at all. People often lose their minds because of greed. Lin Luoran is not greedy. If taking elixirs can also make one immortal, won't so many cultivators who struggle to become immortals become a joke? She doesn't believe that such a cultivator can finally be ranked among the immortals and become the most carefree true immortal in the world. If the process of pursuing the immortal Tao was seen as a grand cultivation, where there were all kinds of pills, all kinds of famous teachers, all kinds of cultivation techniques, and all kinds of magical treasures, how could a cultivator with such rich innate conditions prove his true self in the process of cultivation? Every advancement requires a breakthrough in the state of mind. Lin Luoran's personal experience tells her that taking elixirs can only make the early cultivation of cultivators extremely smooth. When it comes to the big hurdle of bearing essence, without the corresponding state of mind, the chance of success is too slim. Old Taoist Huizhu has been stuck in the late stage of laying foundation for many years. For others, it may be because Reiki is not abundant enough. However, Qingqing Taoist Temple used to own a small wood Reiki mine. Huizhu didn't bear essence. Maybe there is something wrong with his state of mind, and some knot in his heart hasn't been untied. Cultivation. The lifespan of cultivators in the training Qi period doesn't change. It can be seen that the training Qi period is the real preparation of cultivation. The lifespan of 200 years in the laying foundation period can give people more time to pursue the Tao of nature leisurely. This is the real threshold of cultivation. As for the bearing essence period, the lifespan is as long as 500 years. It is standing within the threshold. Hey, I give you the formula of bone marrow cleansing bolus. You don't want it? Woodwolf sees that Lin Luoran doesn't take it. It is so angry that it gives her the bolus for free. Lin Luoran looks indifferent. Woodwolf raises its hand and puts a ball of light between her eyebrows. Lin Luoran closes her eyes and ponders for a while. She opens her eyes and smiles. It seems to be a real formula. Little Woodwolf, you are indeed the little boss of the monster wolf family. You have saved a lot of good stuff. Looking at Lin Luoran's happy face, Woodwolf says in a muffled voice, are you not willing to give this bone marrow cleansing bolus to the Lin family? It has a bad feeling. It has lived for so many years and it is going to make a mistake for the second time. Lin Luoran raises her eyebrows. Who says I want to use it on my family? With this formula, it should be easy to cure leukemia, right? Little Woodwolf, you are so kind-hearted. Thank you. I will thank you later. Thank you so much. Lin Luoran knows that she deserves a beating if she still pretends to be nice after getting a bargain. She flashes out of the space. The deceived wood wolf was first petrified and then flew into a rage. Fire Phoenix doesn't hide its schadenfreude. Sure enough, under its training, Lin Luoran is no longer the little cultivator who is easy to be deceived. This time, Wood Wolf gives away the formula of the bolus for free. It doesn't even have time to talk about the plan. It can be seen that it has suffered a double loss. It is really funny. Seeing that Wood Wolf is so angry that it wants to vent its anger on the spirit herbs planted by Lin Luoran, the silver fish drags it back. She is kidding you. In fact, if there is anything, just talk to her. She is very enthusiastic if she can help. As for tempting her with the formula of bolus, don't do it in the future. Look at me and brother Fire Phoenix. Doesn't she know that we must remember some formulas of bolus or secrets of the past? When did she ask us? Wood Wolf is like an angry ball. It is suddenly poked by the soft voice of the silver fish. After coming here for so long, Wood Wolf also knows that this female cultivator Lin Luoran is very soft-hearted. If it didn't have the idea to melt her and cultivate the green light flower, she probably wouldn't be so cruel to put itself into the space. But will it tell this innocent little silver fish that the pride of the Wolf King can't be tarnished? Well, in fact, it has been a monster for so many years in which the weak are prey to the strong. It is not used to such a leisurely life without calculation, okay? Grandmaster, what do you think I got? As soon as Lin Luoran gets the formula of bolus and gets out of the space, she sees Yuan Yi walking towards her happily. She thought that Yuan Yi stayed in the first palace for so long because he failed in the catch week, and this apprentice was too embarrassed to come back. Unexpectedly, maybe it is because he caught something good? Yuan Yi is very happy. He opens his palm and a pair of small palm-sized wings lies quietly. They are a bit like the wings of a dragonfly. 2 wings are big and the other 2 are small. There is a trace of golden light flowing. Lin Luoran feels a little familiar. Of course, Yuan Yi will not be happy because of this little thing. Lin Luoran takes the small wings and injects Wacken into them. The wings become bigger in her palm and float in the air. A delicate ring buckles her waist and then straps her shoulders. Lin Luoran uses her mind and the wings grow to about 1.5 meters. They are thin and small. Lin Luoran can actually fly to the roof of the palace with one flap of the wings. Although she can't command it as usual because it hasn't recognized her as its owner, Lin Luoran is 100% sure that this is a flying magic weapon after trying it. Isn't Yuan Yi too lucky? The actual function of this thing is definitely above the protean dress. The most important thing is that Yuan Yi can fly on the sword. Now he touches this thing. Lin Luoran smiles unkindly and returns the small wings to Yuan Yi. You've really touched a peach blossom. Yuan Yi blushes because of his grandmaster's teasing. He quickly puts the small wings in and changes the topic. Grandmaster, have you checked Lu Xinyo's situation? When it comes to business, Lin Luoran also becomes serious. She also imitates Wood Wolf and turns the prescription of bone marrow cleansing bolus into a memory bead. She puts it between Yuan Ye's eyebrows. Come and have a look at this prescription. Yuan Yi closes his eyes to digest. When he opens his eyes again, his heart is beating fast because of the words, Grade 6. This is a Grade 6 bone marrow cleansing bolus. His grandmaster really treats him as an outsider. Seeing his grandmaster is still staring at him, Yuan Yi calms down and considers the prescription carefully. He suddenly realizes, Grandmaster, do you want to improve a special medicine for leukemia based on this bone marrow cleansing bolus? Lin Luoran nods. In your opinion, is it easy? Excluding those unknown spirit herbs and spirit medicines, Yuan Yi deliberates for half an hour and then says cautiously, if we can find alternative Chinese herbs, it won't be immediate. We can develop it according to the course of treatment. There is still a big chance. Yuan Yi has the same idea as Lin Luoran. He points at Lu Xinyo who is in a coma. Let's start with her. As soon as he comes, he climbs up to update and sees a lot of comments. Hey, I will be touched if you do this, okay? Chapter 367. When Lu Xinyo opens her eyes in a daze, she thinks she is dead. If she is not dead, how can she see a magnificent palace and a figure like a fairy in the divine palace? At first glance, it was quite similar to the portrait of mortal heart fairy that was drawn by her mother. It turns out that the fairy she believed in her lifetime will come to take her away, but she is not a believer of mortal heart fairy. Lu Xinyo vaguely hears a man and a woman talking about how to save her. She smiles helplessly. Acute leukemia has dragged on for almost half a year. The last scene in her memory is many people in white coats rushing in, saying that she is infected and needs to be rescued. Lu Xinyo's memory is chaotic. She faints again in a daze. Grandmaster, she is much better now. Well, let's continue. I'm afraid Lu Ging has been worried sick these days. Intermittent conversations like this come into Lu Xinyo's ears from time to time. The high fever makes her almost lose the ability to think. Sometimes she thinks that if she can survive, she certainly doesn't want to die. Yes, no one wants to die in their youth. Her painting has not been recognized by the industry. She hasn't had a good relationship yet. The most important thing is that she hasn't become the person that her mother who raised her and refused to remarry wants to be. She hasn't fulfilled her father's last wish. She is reluctant to leave Lu Guiying, who has a loud voice and likes to work. Lin Luoran breathes a sigh of relief. No matter how effective the elixir is, the patient must have the will to survive. Compared with the previous one, today's elixir is much more effective. Lu Xinyo excretes a black substance which is necrotic cells. Lin Luoran casts a cleaning spell to clean Lu Xinyo, who is in a coma. Then she asks Yuan Yi to feed her some porridge made from the space rice. Grandmaster, in this way she can be sent out in 2 days, right? It feels great to pull a dying man back from hell with his own hands. Yuan Yi finally decides to dedicate himself to the Tao of Bolus and pursue his own dream. Lin Luoran nods. Can you write down the prescriptions we have tried? Yuan Yi takes out a stack of paper. Such valuable experience. I have written down every step. Lin Luoran finally smiles with satisfaction. Lin Luoran can see the situation on the shore of Dongting Lake through the Seaview Terrace. Lu Ging lives in a luxurious villa, and her expression when she looks at Mount June every day makes Lin Luoran want to cleanse Lu Xinyo's marrow directly. However, in order to benefit more people in the future, she and Yuan Yi still insist on using traditional medicine for treatment. Fortunately, the heavens did not disappoint those who worked hard. Now, it seemed that her choice was not wrong. Auntie Lu, don't worry. I said I'll come out tonight, and it will be tonight. The moon was in the middle of the sky. Mount June was very quiet. 3 figures were waiting in front of Lu Yiwell. In the past 10 days, Lu Ging can't sleep every night. Wei Shui can bear it, but Ma Ming's girlfriend, Tongya, has been impatient for a long time. The little fatty also asked them in private whether they are going to do something big in Dongting. Lin Luodong and Huang Weijian must find time to accompany Lu Guiying every day, and their whereabouts are mysterious. That's why the little fatty said so. However, Lin Luodong is not sure whether he can take Wei Shui in or not. Ma Ming is such a blabbermouth. He can't tell him that they are staying here for a one-day tour of the Dragon Palace. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the night is slightly cold. Lu Guiying looks pious. She doesn't listen to Lin Luodong and Huang Weijian's dissuasion. She insists on kneeling in front of Lu Yiwell to show her sincerity to mortal heart fairy. Her clothes are wet, but this old woman doesn't feel it at all. She has made a great wish. If her daughter Lu Xinyo can really come back to life, her family must worship the fairy for generations to repay the fairy's kindness. A warm light comes from the mouth of the well. Lu Ging looks up and sees Yuan Yi holding Lu Xinyo out. In 10 days, Lu Xinyo's metabolism is extremely fast. Her hair that has fallen off because of chemotherapy grows an inch longer. She is still wearing the same hospital gown, but Lu Ging can see that Lu Xinyo's complexion is different at a glance. Her cheeks are rosy, her sunken eyes are meaty, and her pointed chin doesn't look so scary. The skin on her neck is still very white under the moonlight, but the bulging blue veins are gone. Is she better? She will wake up tomorrow morning. Aunt Lu, you can rest in the villa for another night. Yuan Yi doesn't know whether this is maternal love or not. Anyway, as an orphan he can't understand it. Lu Ging has lost a lot of weight during this period, but now she can still hold Lu Xinyo in her arms. Obviously, he has underestimated Lu Guiying's strength. Lu Ging is ecstatic at this moment. She kowtows to Lu Yiwell and obediently follows Lin Luodong back to the villa. Yuan Yi knows that the old woman is actually very tired. She probably hasn't had a good sleep for a long time. He sighs and secretly sprinkles a little powder. It should be enough for the mother and daughter to have a good sleep. Grandmaster said that you two performed very well this time. You can go to the Dragon Palace with companions. Yuan Yi winks at them. Go with companions. Huang Weijian is up to no good. Does that mean you can go with Wei Shui? Go with companions? Ha! Lin Luodong blushes. An idea flashes in his mind and he immediately retorts, if each person can have one place, the one you bring with you is Ma Ming, right? This is a world full of otakus. Gay has spread to the world of personal ability cultivation. Hearing this, Huang Weijian's face immediately darkens. Yuan Yi turns his face away and laughs so hard that he almost has an internal injury. When are we going? The two play for a while and then they ask about business. Yuan Yi shakes his head. Wait and you'll know. Lin Luodong has no choice but to sneak back to Huang Weijian's small building with Huang Weijian. After 9 o'clock the next day, the sun shines on the bed through the half-closed curtains. Lu Guiying just wakes up. She hasn't slept so comfortably for half a year. She is still not used to waking up in a luxurious big bed. Hey, didn't she fall asleep on the sofa last night while guarding her daughter? How come she wakes up in a big bed? Lu Guiying wakes up and sits up. This house is huge. She looks up and down before she finds some noise in the kitchen on the first floor. Lu Guiying finds a familiar figure in a hospital gown. She looks at her daughter who is not skillful enough to break 2 eggs into the pot. Lu Guiying's cheeks are already full of tears. Lu Xinyo turns her head. Mom, why are you crying again? Haven't she cried enough in the past 6 months? She feels that she is all right, but Sister Lu comes to provoke her again. Lu Xinyo thinks so and she can't stop crying. The mother and daughter hug each other and cry bitterly. It seems that they want to vent all the hardships and hesitation in the past 6 months. Of course, no one cares about the poached eggs in the pot anymore. It is a sunny day outside the window. Lu Guiying feels full of strength even if she doesn't have breakfast. The mother and daughter calm down. This time, they find that there is only an envelope on the table with some Huaxia currency and a note in it. The main idea is that Lu Xinyo has just recovered from her illness and can live in this villa temporarily. Since they are in a rush when they come out, the Huaxia currency is left as the bus fare back. There is no signature. Lu Guiying thinks it must be the person on the sword who picks them up and takes Lu Xinyo into the well for treatment. Lu Guiying has regarded Lin Luodong and Yuan Yi as the immortal messengers who live in the mortal world on behalf of Mortal Heart Fairy. Recalling the days when she gets along with them, they are gentle and don't put on airs. Lu Guiying can't help sighing. She has worked in the street office for many years and has seen all kinds of people. Compared with some upstarts who embarrass ordinary staff like her, the real nobles are like these immortal messengers. They don't have condescending arrogance even when they are helping you. It's good to be alive. Lu Xinyo changes into a new dress. Accompanied by Lu Guiying, she climbs Mount June Island in a sober state for the first time. Lu Xinyo has just recovered from a serious illness. She looks thin as if she can be blown away by the wind. Seeing Lu Xinyo's appearance, pilgrims can't help but make way for her. With the help of Lu Guiying, she kowtows 3 times in front of Lu Yiwell and lights incense with her bare hand. I, Lu Xinyo, am grateful for Fairy's life-saving grace. You saved my life and my mother's life. I'm willing to follow my mother's order and the Lu family will worship Mortal Heart Fairy from now on. I'm willing to use my whole life to spread Fairy's miracles. If there is any falsehood in my words, I won't be reincarnated. This is a vow and also a lifelong aspiration. Lu Xinyo's voice is not loud and she says it very solemnly. Some pilgrims nearby hear it and they are all surprised. This girl is so young. Why does it sound like she is going to be a nun? Lu Ging recounted the whole story, and the others were skeptical. She just worshipped Mortal Heart Fairy, and when she was critically ill, a miracle appeared and saved this young girl? Why does it sound like a fairy tale? Lu Guing sees that they don't believe it and is eager to explain. Lu Xinyo has finished making the aspiration and stands up. Mom, let's go. Lin Luoran doesn't explain too much and leaves as if nothing happened. Instead, these skeptical pilgrims become convinced. Among them, there were many who had personally felt the spiritual rain in the past and admired the fairy face. What they doubted was not the existence of Mortal Heart Fairy, but the fact that an ordinary woman could also alarm the fairy because of her piety, and such a blessing was given to her. Leukemia. The girl is just a little thinner, but she is in good spirits. It's better to believe this kind of thing. These pilgrims catch up with her. What did the big sister say just now? Her daughter is a top student in the Academy of Fine Arts and a person who is proud of seeing the fairy face. It's a serious matter to ask her to draw a picture and offer it at home. Pilgrims spread the news to 10 and 10 to 100. Lin Luoran's believers slowly develop in this way. Lu Xinyo always acts as she says. She begins to fulfill her preaching duties before leaving Mount Jun. Lin Luoran suddenly opens her eyes in the Dragon Palace. She finds that there are some white light spots in her ocean of consciousness. One of the new light spots is not as bright as Lu Guing's faith, but it is firmly connected with the fly Apsara's painted sculpture with a new momentum. The silk thread emits beautiful brilliance. Lin Luoran can see that the person connected by the silk thread has made a great aspiration of never abandoning preaching for life. Chapter 368. It is not until the next afternoon that Lin Luodong and others understand what Yuan Yi means by saying, "Just wait and see." Mr. and Mrs. Lin arrive with Zheng Tian. Li Shi comes with Cui Wanlu's family. Lin Luodong is shocked by the dozens of people. In a trance, he feels that his sister has become the big boss guarding the Dragon Palace. They are all excited and they are going to kill monsters. Wang Miao, he always treats Lin Luodong as her son-in-law. She pinches Lin Luodong's face as soon as she sees him. After all, Lin Luodong is only 19 years old. He blushes. Wang Miao and Mrs. Lin are only a few years apart in age. Wang Miao gets rid of the toxins in her body because of the skin beauty bolus. These years, she eats and drinks like the Lin family. Except for her charm, she always looks like a woman in her 30s or early 40s. Like Mrs. Lin, Wang Miao, he looks like a noble lady. Ma Ming has already sent Tongya home on the plane under Lin Luodong's hint. Now that the Lin family is here, Ma Ming knows that something good is going to happen. Last time he got a mysterious jade pendant. What good thing is there this time? Ma Ming is anxious. However, everyone is tight-lipped and refuses to tell him in advance. At this time, there are still many pilgrims in Mount Jun. They have to wait patiently. It has become a tradition to go to Yang Tower, to look at Dongting Lake. They are bored, so they buy tickets to go there. The water of Dongting Lake has been greatly improved. The lake surface is clear and the scenery of blue waves is back. Lin's pharmaceutical factory has invested a lot of money to beautify the lake embankment. More tourists come to Dongting Lake. With the investment of Lin's company, the economy of Dongting Lake has improved and the financial revenue has not decreased. In the past 2 years, the local government has realized that even if they close down those chemical plants, it will only be good for them. In fact, I bought a cruise ship last time. Zheng Tian doesn't remember that he bought a cruise ship until he goes to Yang Tower. His enthusiasm is despised. Everyone pays for the tickets, but they have to follow him down. It is good to watch the tide from a high place, but how can it compare with boating on the lake? Well, the boat seems to be a little bigger. Are all cultivation families so rich? Ma Ming and Wei Shui have the same suspicion. After all, the cruise ship in front of them was simply too big. Cruise ships often represent wealth, not only because they are expensive, but also because they are rarely used each year. The maintenance fee is also high, so it is not cost-effective. Except for Zheng Tian, probably no one would do such a thing. The gentle lake breeze blows. Ma Ming is interrogating Lin Luodong on the deck. Wei Shui also feels uncomfortable. The chef is frying the famous crayfish of Dongting for everyone. It is intertwined with the fragrance of frying lamb chops. It is quite a combination of Chinese and Western. Looking at Lin Luodong and Ma Ming, Wei Shui murmurs. Cui Wanlu sits at the bar and pulls the belt of her princess dress. Huang Weijian is amused and goes closer. Why aren't you rushing up to stir things up? Cui Wanlu looked at him as if he was an idiot. Brother Weijian, do you know how long a cultivator can live? Huang Weijian is stunned. Cui Wanlu is not only precocious, but also quick-witted. As an adult, he can't even figure out what she is thinking. Cui Wanlu smiles proudly. Grandmaster said that Brother Luodong and I have the best single Taoist root in the whole Lin school, even in the world of cultivation. Do you know what it means? Huang Weijian suddenly feels frustrated and shakes his head. Cui Wanlu reaches out and draws a line. If our personal ability enhancement goes well, Brother Weijian, you can live this long. She then draws a longer line. Brother Luodong and I may live this long. Huang Weijian stares at her. Cui Wanlu raises another finger and lowers her voice. What about Sister Wei Shui? She has no Taoist root, so she can only live this long. Since I can live so much longer than her, it doesn't matter if I give in to her. Is she really only 10 years old? Huang Weijian's hand holding the spirit wine trembles. He can no longer keep a straight face. The corner of his mouth twitches and he runs away. Cui Wanlu pouts and takes a small cake and puts it in her mouth. It tastes really good, but it's a pity that it's sweet. Mom said that girls will get fat if they eat too much sweets. She likes her father very much, but Brother Luodong won't like a fat man like her father. Cui Wanlu swallows and jumps off the high stool of the bar. Her determination to resist sweets is clear. Because of the fun, time flies. Before the aroma of lamb chops dissipates, night has fallen. Zheng Tian is about to direct the cruise to Mount June Island when there is a cry of surprise on the deck. He also steps forward and leans against the railing to have a look. Under the moonlight, the sparkling lake is now very lively. The lobster army doing gymnastics, the water snake team doing yanko, and the fish performing synchronized swimming. It seems that they are welcoming everyone. Yuan Yi starts to spread the powder again. The staff on the cruise all fall asleep. After the fish in the water have finished their welcome dance, the lake suddenly separates to make a waterway. One end of the steps is connected to the deck of the cruise and the other end extends to the bottom of the lake. It shines with breathtaking brilliance under the moonlight. This is... Fatty Ma Ming's eyes are about to pop out. Fatty Chui, who is about the same size as him, pats him. Silly boy, it's obvious that they are here to pick us up. Ma Ming, the question is, where are they going to pick them up? Looking at the dark bottom of the lake and at night, it looks like a ghost story. Except for Yuan Yi, Cui Wanlu is the boldest one among them. She is the first one to come to herself. Big school brother, can we go down to the Dragon Palace? Yuan Yi nods. Ma Ming feels dizzy. The Dragon Palace? Did he hear it wrong? Looking at Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin again, no wonder they asked him to send Tongya back first. The Dragon Palace. This is clearly an urban fantasy on the internet. Ma Ming finally gets a chance to be a pig-trotter. Cui Wanlu takes the lead and steps on the water steps. They are smooth but not slippery. She giggles and runs all the way down. Wang Miao Yi has a headache. She drags Fatty Chui to follow them. Hearing the conversation of a family coming from the bottom of the lake and the vague image, everyone comes to their senses. Why don't you come down? Lin's voice is a little distorted through the lake. Mr. and Mrs. Lin look at each other and smile. They walk down the steps hand in hand. Wei Shui also steps on the steps carefully. After all, she is a girl who has never seen the means of cultivators, so she is much timid. Seeing her trembling, Lin Luodong doesn't think much and takes her hand to go down together. Wei Shui's face is red like a big apple under the moonlight. Lin Luodong doesn't notice it at all. Ma Ming winks at Huang Weijin. Fatty Chui is so bored. Huang Weijin pushes him and asks him to go down quickly. Xing Tian gives time to the big school brother and sneaks down quickly. Yuan Yi is one step behind. Can I talk to you? Li stomps her feet. What she? I don't know you well. Call her School Aunt Li. School Aunt Li is fine. Yuan Yi has no choice but to tell her what happened. He spreads out his palm. I don't need this flying magic weapon anyway. How about we exchange? The wings are transparent and delicate like a dragonfly. Li is very tempted. She injects a little wacken into the wings and they transform. They buckle on her waist and shoulders. With a flap and a movement, she is about to fly up. She really wants it, but how can it belong to Yuan Yi? Although it is an exchange, it is very unlikely that she can get a better magic weapon than this. Li feels a little regretful. When she is about to refuse, Yuan Yi suddenly pricks her palm with a needle. Drops of blood fall on the magic weapon of flight. This, has it recognized her as its master? Isn't he forcing her to give it to him? Li is so angry that she kicks Yuan Yi several times. Then she flaps her wings and flies down the water steps. Yuan Yi smirks and follows her. When his figure disappears in the water, the steps also disappear. The moon is hanging high in the night sky. There is only this gorgeous cruise ship on the surface of Dongting Lake. The chef and the staff have fallen asleep. Lin Luoran is a tour guide waiting for them in the outer hall. Cultivators must be strong-willed. Fatty Chui sees those beads and wants to take a few off to see if they are real. Is this throne made of real gold? Ma Ming looks at it and asks Huang Weijin. Huang Weijin gives him a supercilious look. After all, this is the place where the dragons used to live. Both the palace and the gate are built high. The Lin family walks in it and it doesn't feel crowded. Instead, it makes the dragon palace look even more magnificent. Li Shi'er takes Wei Shui and Chui Wanlu to explore. After a while, they come back from a side hall. Li Shi'er really has something unexpected. It was a pink gauze. According to Li Shi'er, it was taken from a big bed. It looked like a mosquito net. Even if it is a decorative mosquito net, it may have been used by the dragon girl. You can keep it. The dragon palace is vast and there are many palaces. Lin Luoran spends most of her time here for cultivation and she doesn't have time to explore. However, Li says, even if we find a needle here, its surname is not Li. Sister Lin, you can keep it. She puts the gauze in Lin Luoran's arms and runs away with Wei Shui and Chui Wanlu. Lin Luoran is speechless. Li Shi'er never plays by the rules. She introduces the place to the others along the way. Obviously, the Seaview Terrace and the garden she has cleaned are the most popular. Mrs. Lin and Wang Miao are walking around the garden. They are surprised to see the big mussel that Lin Luoran used to pick up pearls. Fatty Chui instigates Mr. Lin to ask if they should catch a few of the unreasonably big fish and shrimps in the pond to have a taste. As for Zheng Tian, he is rushing to try the Seaview Terrace with Lin Luodong and others. Lin Luoran only has Yuan Yi, who is not interested in these things. Yuan Yi coughs and says, Grandmaster, it seems that they are not in the mood to choose gifts. Gifts? Gifts. Everyone's attention is attracted by Lin Luoran. The place where Lin Luoran is standing is the weird and ugly flower tree. I don't know if you have seen the lucky draw on the homepage of Zongheng. As long as you register for the mailbox 173 and change the information of your Zongheng account to the mailbox 173, you can draw the lucky draw. Chapter 369. Speaking of this person's luck, it was really something that could not be fathomed. In the catch week of the first palace of Jihua Palace, Ma Ming actually wins the first prize. Fatty didn't expect that there would be a flying sword aiming at him as if it was chasing him. He is so scared that he almost pees his pants. It turns out to be a grade 5 flying sword. At that time, everyone has touched their prizes and they are discussing together. Ma Ming holds the flying sword in a daze and doesn't know what to do. He already knows that he is a person without the Taoist root and is born unable to cultivate. Holding such a precious treasure, Ma Ming feels like grabbing a red-hot soldering iron in everyone's envious eyes. It's too hot. Fatty grits his teeth and actually throws the flying sword to Lin Luodong. What are you going to do? My sister said that whoever touches it is destined to be with him. Lin Luodong is quite determined. Of course, he wants the grade 5 flying sword. Lin Luoran's sword of bright snow is only grade 5, and Mr. Lin's broadsword is only grade 3. However, it is Ma Ming who touches it. It's a personal chance. Lin Luodong can't accept it. Ma Ming puts his arms around Lin's neck. Look, it's like this. He pulls Lin Luodong aside and whispers. Fatty Chui touches a Methra Ya Buddha, a standard antique of the Tang dynasty. It is elegant, but its big belly seems to be laughing at him. Brother Chui, how are your cousins? Lin Luoran suddenly remembers that she returned home in a hurry and left without waiting for Chui Hejin and others to get the storage bags back. She learned some magic circles in the Dragon Palace and now remembers this. Fatty Chui nods. He said that Saito Asada became the Grand Priest. He not only returned the storage bags, but also gave them some things to calm down. My cousin lost his face this time, so he became more restrained. He wanted to come to Lin's house to thank you several times, but he was too embarrassed to come alone. Lin Luoran says, there's no need to thank me. He wants to come here to play. Brother Chui, why don't you take him here? However, I heard that when a person encounters a disaster, he must have some enlightenment. Tell him not to worry. Fatty Chui nods. Lin Luoran is not aimless. She only experienced this kind of completely forgetting the past with the help of Fire Phoenix on the eve of Bearing Essence period. It is also a rare experience for her to correct her mentality. People like Chui Hejian Yi Xiaobei and Little Six of the Mu family are really lucky to survive a disaster. They are chatting when Ma Ming, Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin come back with their arms around each other's shoulders. The result of the discussion is that Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin will help him keep this grade 5 flying sword together. When the Ma family has a promising descendant who is lucky enough to have a Taoist root, they will help him pass it on to his descendants. Usually, Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin can use it if they want. Wait until the descendants of the Ma family have the Taoist root? In addition, Huang Weijin practices Confucianism. It is clear that this sword is for Lin Luodong. Luodong's friend is interesting. Lin Luoran says seriously, since someone entrusted him to you, Luodong, have you taken the oath of the devil inside? Lin Luodong is stunned. Ma Ming asks what the oath of the devil inside is. After listening to Huang Weijin's explanation, the fatty waves his hand to show that there is no need to swear. Reminded by his sister, Lin Luodong solemnly swears by the devil inside that when the Ma family has a descendant who can cultivate, he will return the flying sword. The fatty smiles awkwardly. In fact, he feels very complicated. These treasures originally belonged to Lin's sister. How generous it is to let them come to the Dragon Palace. Besides, he happened to touch this flying sword. How can he, an ordinary person, hold such a precious treasure? A treasure is a crime. Ma Ming wants to give it to Lin Luodong. In addition to making his good friend happy, he also has a selfish intention. He has a good relationship with Lin Luodong and Huang Weijin, but it doesn't mean that his friends will still remember the other members of the Ma family after 100 years. This is the selfishness of the fatty to make Lin Luodong think of Ma Ming's descendants when he sees the flying sword. He doesn't expect that Lin Luoran sees through him. Instead of being unhappy, she asks Lin Luodong to take the oath of the devil inside. That is to say, if the Ma family is lucky enough to have a descendant with the Taoist root, they will be accepted into the Lin family. Hey, can you people not be so generous? Don't you know that I will be touched? The fatty secretly touches the corner of his eyes. He will never admit that he almost cried just now. Except for Ma Ming, other people have different luck. Wei Shui gets a gorgeous phoenix crown. Although it is an ordinary thing, if she sells it, it is enough to make people crazy. The gorgeous phoenix crown is made of 108 small pearls strung together as a curtain, 9 dadong pearls as the top of the hat, and gold silk as the bottom. It is inlaid with huge rubies. It weighs 7 caddies and 2 tails. Although it is a priceless work of art, Wei Shui can't figure out what kind of physique is needed to run around with this phoenix crown. If she sells it, the Wei family won't have to worry about money for the rest of their lives. However, Wei Shui is worried now. How can she take such a big thing back? Lin Luodong's place has become as safe again. Wei Shui gives the phoenix crown to Lin Luodong for safekeeping. The two of them don't notice anything wrong, but these playful adults are smiling so ambiguously. Cui Wanlu starts to play with her poor clothes again. Huang Weijian pushes her. You are the only one who got 2 storage bags. Why don't you show it now? Cui Wanlu stares at Huang Weijian fiercely. She has touched a pair of storage bags. Both the appearance and space are very good. Does he want her to give one to him for free at this time to hold her rival's phoenix crown? She is generous, but she is not a fool. Wang Miao Yi gets a jade guanyin. Lin notices the light power of faith on it. She guesses that it must have a history. She asks Wang Miao Yi to decide whether they should take it home and worship it. It is easier to invite a god than to send him away. The family can't worship anything randomly. If Wang Miao Yi doesn't want to, she doesn't want to take it home. Gods and Buddhas are gone. Lin Luoran can't guarantee that they are dead or gone. What if they come back one day? Therefore, Wang Miao Yi has to make the decision herself. Zheng Tian thinks that he will get a flying sword, but it turns out to be a jade flute. He knows nothing about music, so he gives it to his grandmaster. Lin Luoran also doesn't know anything about music, so she puts it away. Mrs. Lin gets a beauty bolus. She is surprised and feels that it is more suitable than any flying sword or magic weapon. Even Mr. Lin is happy, so he doesn't care that he only gets a copy of Tao Te Ching. Li Shiyu gets a pair of earrings with a light water defense power. She gives them back to Yuan Yi with a smile. She can't tolerate those who plot against school Aunt Li. Seeing that Yuan Yi accepts the earrings that only a woman can wear, Li Shiyu laughs bitterly. Yuan Yi likes Huang Weijian's most. It is a calligraphy of a famous master. He is happier than getting a magic weapon. He puts it away happily. Lin Luodong gets a dust-proof coat, which is not as good as Lin Luoran's protean dress, which can be changed at will. It is a Taoist robe which makes him sigh. He has to give it to Lin Luoran for safekeeping. In the first hall of the palace of Jiahua, there are many white mist balls. People just want to have fun. Anyway, they can get things for free. No matter what they get, they will be happy. The floor of the hall behind is full of traces of Lin Luoran's magic circles. It is inconvenient for them. Besides, if they see it, they will get dizzy like Yuan Yi. The loss outweighs the gain. Lin Luoran takes everyone out of the Dragon Palace. She makes a water dome so that they can experience the fun of diving in the dome. They go to the bottom of Dongting Lake and have a tour. When it is dawn and the mist rises from Dongting Lake, their trip to the Dragon Palace comes to a perfect end. On the deck of the cruise ship, Lin Luodong holds Lin Luoran's hand reluctantly. Sister, don't you want to go home with us? Lin Luoran shakes her head. The magic circle she deduces has taken shape. Next, it is time to refine weapons. Yang Lisha has sent 2 paper cranes to urge her. The time to go to Penglai is imminent. In addition to refining weapons, Lin Luoran may have to find time to refine some elixirs. Goldie went to Weifang again. Zheng Tian and the Lin family don't answer. Lin Luoran sighs. Goldie didn't come, so it can only go to Weifang. It seems that there is still no news about Cyan Little Fox. As the main material, red gold iron, is calcined into a pool of brown liquid with some golden threads. It looks simple, but it takes Lin Luoran 7 days to melt the red gold iron that Wen Guanjing gave her in exchange for the foundation-laying bolus last time. She thinks it is about time and adds a piece of green calcined ore. It was found at the bottom of Dongting Lake, which is a pleasant surprise. 3 days later, when the green calcined ore is melted, the color of the liquid becomes beautiful. The golden threads intertwine with the green threads, which is indescribably moving. Lin Luoran recalls the method of making the weapon embryo in Introduction of Swords. She changes her hand gesture. The colorful liquid is slowly solidified, and the embryo of a sword embryo is formed. The embryo determines the future power of the magic weapon. Lin Luoran can't afford to make any mistakes. She spares a part of her mind to implant several fixed magic circles into the sword embryo. Every magic weapon needs its own magic circle. It is a big problem to enlarge or shrink it at will. There is also the dust-proof magic circle and the more important, wind-riding magic circle, which is the most important step to let the flying sword fly. If Lin Luoran didn't study the Star Atlas in the past 2 months, she wouldn't be able to recognize the specific function of the magic circle even if she has the bright sword in hand. Refining weapons is not an ordinary thing. Lin Luoran has refined armor with scorpion shells, but it is still difficult for her to refine such an advanced weapon as the flying sword. He could also use the heavenly fire to refine the materials, but he could only use the alchemic fire to carve the sword embryo. She consumes a lot of her spiritual mind, and the bolus fire is not inexhaustible. It is closely related to the Wakan inside Lin Luoran. She embedded a few formations before finally embedding the one she had improved herself. This has nothing to do with what she has learned in the Star Atlas. She just remembers a geometric theorem that she learned in elementary school. The triangle is the most stable. Xing Tian has the Taoist root of 3 natures. What kind of flying sword is the most suitable for him? Lin Luoran can't find enough materials for the 3 kinds of Reiki, so she has to start with magic circles. Thinking of the 3 golden elixirs revolving around the pure white one in her body, Lin Luoran deduces a spirit rotating circle of 3 elements. When the user injects Reiki into the flying sword, the Reiki will rotate like the golden elixir in Lin Luoran's body. In the end, the 3 elements will merge into one and the power of the magic weapon will increase gradually. Xing Tian should be satisfied with this flying sword. Lin Luoran recalls the deduction process and carefully carves the nodes of the magic circle in the middle of the sword embryo. When all the dots are connected, Lin Luoran is exhausted. Only enchantment and sharpening are left, right? Lin Luoran uses the bolus fire to forge the sword embryo again. Refining weapons is nothing more than purifying materials and changing the arrangement of molecules. What Lin Luoran is doing now is to pull out the edge of the sword. The thin blade gradually appears. After Lin Luoran washes it with the iced spring water, the 1-foot-long flying sword appears in its full form. Lin Luoran has no spirit stone in her hand. She only inlaid the top-grade jade in the hilt as the circle eye. The 1-foot-long sword has not been enchanted yet. It is brown with dark lines formed by the intertwining of gold and black. It looks good. As for its actual power, Lin Luoran gets up to enchant the flying sword after a good night's sleep. When all the magic circles in the sword are lit up one by one, Lin Luoran breathes a sigh of relief. Incomplete magic circles that don't conform to the rules of stars can't be enchanted. That is to say, the spirit rotating circle, she deduces, is generally successful, regardless of its power. Lin Luoran looks at the 3-foot-long sword floating in the air after injecting Reiki into it. She finds a quiet night and finds the foundation that the Lins are digging by the Dongting Lake to test the sword. Lin Luoran twists the sword and a big pit appears, which saves a lot of time for the Lins. Looking at the big pit, Lin Luoran has an estimate of the quality of the flying sword. Its appearance was ordinary, and it could even be considered simple and crude. Limited by the materials, it is impossible for it to grow like the sword of bright snow. This is a flying sword that is suitable for attacking, powerful, and more powerful than a grade 4 magic weapon. However, it is congenitally inferior to a grade 5 magic weapon. Naming should be left to Xing Tian. Chapter 370. Lin Luoran rushes home day and night. When she gets home, she finds that her family hasn't gone to bed yet. It is already September. At midnight, the lights are on in the Lin's house. Lin Luoran sees her family sitting around the living room. She thinks something serious has happened and is a little anxious. Seeing that she comes back suddenly, Mr. and Mrs. Lin are happy and tell her the whole story. Sister Rong has been a nanny of the Lin's house for 2 years. She has become more and more likable in both her attitude towards life and her character. Sister Rong also benefits a lot from her job in the Lin's house. Her salary and bonus are nearly 10,000 yuan a month. For Sister Rong, who is less than 25 years old and has an easy job, even in 2018 when the price of goods in the state of Huaxia is not low, such a job is enough for her to be proud of other girls of the same age. Not to mention working in the Lin's house, Li Shi and Mrs. Lin take her shopping from time to time. They wash clothes and shoes without blinking. Sister Rong receives the salary of a white-collar worker and enjoys the treatment of food, accommodation, and clothing. From time to time, she learns some business knowledge from Zheng Tian. Zheng Tian also takes her to attend several classes in the Chuan University. Sister Rong feels that her life becomes bright. Sister Rong is satisfied with a student who has not been admitted to a university but can also enjoy the treatment of a junior class. The more she learns, the broader her vision becomes. Only her boyfriend Gu Xiang, who claims to be ambitious but actually still depends on her, is the only discordant factor in her life. You mean, Gu Xiang kidnapped Rong and asked Sister Rong to pay 5 million yuan as ransom? Lin Luoran has a strange look on her face after hearing the ins and outs of everyone staying up. Mrs. Lin is very worried. She takes Sister Rong's hand and comforts her constantly. Sister Rong's eyes are red and swollen. Even if she is a delinquent, she can't accept that her brother is kidnapped by her boyfriend. Seeing Sister Rong's stubborn and pitiful look, Lin Luoran has a headache. Zheng Tian sees that his grandmaster obviously doesn't believe this story, so he finds an excuse. When they are in the yard, Lin Luoran comes straight to the point. Did you kidnap Rong? Although she acquiesces to her apprentices to make the ruffian show his true colors, she doesn't have to make such a stupid move, right? Not to mention Sister Rong, even Mrs. Lin is so worried that she can't sleep. Zheng Tan shakes his head like a rattle. Why would we kidnap Rong? Master, you're insulting the intelligence of this disciple and eldest senior brother. Seeing that he still has the energy to smile, Lin Luoran knows that the situation is still under control. She smiles. If you didn't find someone to do it, would Gu Xiang dare to ask for 5 million? Does Sister Rong have 5 million yuan? Zheng Tian says bitterly, it's a mistake. Li Yang said that it was a trap to let Rong's little sister see Gu Xiang's true colors. Unexpectedly, when Rong's little sister just showed signs of breaking up, Gu Xiang made the first move. He insisted that Sister Rong had climbed up a high branch. If she wanted to be a mistress, she had to give him 5 million yuan as compensation for the loss of youth, or he would kill her. 5 million in compensation for the loss of his youth? It turns out that there are really men who ask for money in this name. Lin Luoran feels disgusted as if she has swallowed a fly. She thought that men like Li Anping were the best, but it turns out that there are even better masters. Where is Rong Donglin now? Zheng Tian smiles flatteringly. He is locked behind a billiard room at the bus station in the east of the city. Eldest senior brother always protects him. Grandmaster, this is a good opportunity. It's worthwhile for Brother Rong to eat cold food for 2 days for his sister. Lin Luoran is speechless. You'd better ask Chao Liang to deal with this. If the truth is exposed, there will be a gap. Zheng Tian agrees. Seeing his smile, Lin Luoran remembers the flying sword in the space. She takes it out and hands it to Zheng Tian. He is stunned for a while. Grandmaster, is this for me? Compared with the exquisite appearance of Sword of Bright Snow, this sword is not good-looking. However, it is the first time for Zheng Tian to touch a flying sword. As a lover of swordsmanship, he is too excited to speak. Put a drop of blood into it. Let it recognize you as its owner first. Then try the sword. Zheng Tian is overjoyed. After the sword recognizes him as its owner, he infuses Reiki into it. Looking at the sword, he is thrilled. Yuan Yi has taught him sword riding spell. Zheng Tian has been practicing it over and over again because he doesn't have a target to test it on. Now he has his own flying sword. Although they haven't built a tacit understanding yet, when Zheng Tian casts the spell and directs the flying sword to hover above his head, Rong is still running around in the yard like a little kid. Grandmaster, what should I call it? Zheng Tian runs back and his trousers are stained with mud. He is eager to fight, but he remembers that the sword is a gift from his school. He wants to commemorate the gift, but he also wants a more domineering name. He is struggling to make a decision. Lin Luoran spreads out her hands. She finally gives the problem to her apprentice. Of course, there is no reason for her to take over. Xing Tian should figure it out himself. Chao Liang arrives at Lin's house half an hour ago. Rong is kidnapped because of his mistake. Chao Liang can't sleep and is on standby. Xing Tian whispers to Chao Liang, and Chao Liang knows what to do. Leave it to me. Chao Liang takes the 5 million yuan prepared by Xing Tian, puts it in 2 boxes and throws them in the trunk. Chao Liang asks, Brother Leopard, who used to hang out with him. Brother Leopard has become Mr. Leopard now. He knows that the area around the Dongqing bus station is under the influence of vicious wolf. Chao Liang had an idea and a plan to deal with it. Xing Tian is in a dilemma. Grandmaster, if we don't do something, I'm afraid that those gangsters will get desperate and hurt people. Chao will suffer. Chao Liang is energetic like a hunting leopard. He is not afraid at all. Tin, you are not as good as me at this kind of thing. Chao Liang is telling the truth. Xing Tian is not stupid. It's just the environment. He is used to playing tricks. Chao Liang, on the other hand, is always calculating. Of course, he is better at playing tricks. Even so, Gu Xiang is not asking for 5 million yuan. Lin Luoran is afraid that these gangsters have guns, so she throws a jade plate to Chao Liang. Holding the jade plate in his hand, Chao Liang bursts into tears. Is this the reward for his hard work? This is a good thing. He puts the jade plate away. Xing Tian wonders, why don't you recognize it as the owner? Chao Liang laughs, leave it to my son. Chao Liang, who is good at playing tricks, is a typical father. Xing Tian has no choice but to force him to recognize the owner of the jade plate. As the uncle, of course, he will worry about it. Hearing that Chao Liang starts the car, Sister Rong rushes out with red eyes. Brother Chao, I'll go with you. Xing Tian nods subtly. Chao Liang asks Sister Rong to get in the car. Lin Luoran says that she doesn't care, but she still follows Chao Liang with Xing Tian. Chao Liang only makes 2 phone calls along the way. It seems that he is calm. Brother Chao, are we really going to redeem my brother with 5 million yuan? Sister Rong looks at the street outside the car window. It's midnight. Even the barbecue and beer stalls have begun to close. There is nothing to see. Sister Rong can't divert her attention, so she starts to talk to Chao Liang. Chao Liang nods. You know, it's not good for the Lin family to deal with this matter. Otherwise, they will be laughed at. They even need to deal with ordinary gangsters. They will lose face in the world of cultivation. Money is the safest way. As for Gu Xiang, it's up to you to decide whether to punish him or not. Chao Liang's words are to force Sister Rong to think about it clearly. Not to mention 5 million yuan. If Gu Xiang gets 50 cents, he will have lived in vain for so many years. Sister Rong grits her teeth. The Lin family has nothing to say about us. It's unreasonable for them to pay 5 million yuan. When my brother is saved, we have to sell the house to pay the Lin family. Lin Luoran and Xing Tian find it funny on the roof of the car. 2 years ago, Lin Luoran and Rong fought fiercely for a small apartment. When the little girl is sensible, she has a backbone. Chao Liang's foreshadowing is revealed before they arrive at the Dongqing station. Several vans gather quietly. Through the window, they can see that the vans are full of people. The bald man who has been promoted to Lord Leopard stops the car and comes over. Chao Liang rolls down half of the window and nods to him. Chao Liang doesn't stop the car. Lord Leopard's men wait until Chao Liang's car drives away before muttering that Chao Liang is so ostentatious that he doesn't even get out of the car. Lord Leopard scolds him and asks, "Do you know who he is?" Of course, his men can't answer. Lord Leopard doesn't explain. We can take over the Dongqing station tonight. Don't you bastards want to wash your hands? What's the point of bowing your head? No man can be successful without suffering a little grievance. Follow him. Don't get too close. The vans start again and follow Chao Liang's Bentley from a distance. At that time, the famous Lord Leopard was just a leopard guarding the place and people called him Brother Leopard. Chao Liang was just a fake second generation who got bonuses and showed off his power. The incident in the Sanyo bar changed the fate of 4 people. Rong and Xing Tian, whom Leopard is not familiar with, were knocked out by Lin Luoran. When Leopard opened his eyes in a daze, he saw a young man smashing the corner of a table into powder. Leopard has no backbone and continues to pretend to be unconscious. Hearing the young man and Chao Liang talking about kowtowing is to save you, Leopard thinks to himself that even Lord Chao has bowed his head. He doesn't know who this young man is. Leopard also gives up the idea of revenge. Of course, Leopard can't wake up at that time. Chao Liang has been humiliated. If Chao knows that Leopard is awake, he will definitely vent his anger on Leopard. However, Leopard also thinks that Chao Liang will lose his arrogance after suffering such a setback. Chao Liang will not be able to survive in this area in the future. Leopard should find a new boss. Chao Liang turns off the Sanyo bar. Leopard thinks that this rich second generation is going to go home and be a young master. After a long time, Chao Liang asks Leopard for help to inquire about the preferences of the heads of several relevant departments. Leopard doesn't know that Chao Liang goes against the current and turns a setback into an opportunity. He has a relationship with the person who humiliated him. Later, Lin's pharmaceutical factory becomes bigger and Leopard knows that the beautiful woman in the Sanyo bar is surnamed Lin. Master Leopard comes to himself from the past and leisurely blows out a smoke ring. That's why people say that a setback is nothing. A good man knows when to yield and when to stand tall. Chao Liang didn't figure it out at that time. Now he is probably a third-class playboy and can't become a senior leader of Lin's pharmaceutical factory. Leopard won't have what he has today with Chao Liang's support. Lord Chao has tried to persuade him several times to change his name. Now that Leopard has a family business, he also wants to work underground. After taking over the East City Station, he can attack or retreat at will. He'd better do some serious business. Lord Leopard squints. He remembers that no matter how late he comes home, his virtuous wife always leaves a lamp on for him. Life is so promising. Who the hell wants to be a bad guy? Lord Leopard, if we go further, we will be targeted by vicious wolf's men. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.